Mathew, Brent, Tecmotion, Mongrels Garage. Boys, you guys are doing something that I think the world needs to know about, and it involves that red-headed stepsister over your shoulder there. What the hell are you guys up to these days up there in the Great White North?
This one?
Brent's pointing at one that I would dearly like to sell. I have a supercharged Coyote there. No, the car we're here to talk about is that Foxbody behind me there. It's got a Godzilla swap, and there are a few Godzilla swap Foxbodies out there, although I've had comments on my YouTube channel, on the Tecmotion YouTube channel, saying oh, it's the go-to swap for Mustangs these days. But I think there's a lot of dreamers, and there aren't very many actual running Godzilla swap Mustangs. Most of the Godzillas are going into like pickups and Broncos and stuff. In fact, I had a guy called me today, and he's got a like 70 F100 that he's putting a Godzilla in, and that's, I'd say, pretty typical. But what makes this car extra special is besides the Godzilla, it has an ZF 8HP70 transmission. So if you watch the Tecmotion YouTube channel, I think the Godzilla swap is no secret. We've published quite a bit about it. Brent's helped me quite a lot with that, and it's not wildly out of place. I would say it's a new swap, and there's not a lot of them actually out there, but this is a, got the Holley front cover, Holley oil pan, accessory drive setup, and it's got the Holley swap intake manifold for hood clearance, and it's got a BTR Truck Norris cam. But the thing that makes this really unique is the transmission. So
okay, well, maybe before we dive into that, because I am like very, very interested to hear about this tranny. What are you guys doing with this thing? Like, what's
right.
what's all the emphasis on that? Because what's the stats on that car? I mean, it was an old beast that you pulled out of a field somewhere, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a project that we actually call Bad Decision. We even have Bad Decision T-shirts. Oh, and Brent and I have our influencer gold $sign necklaces.
I'm the least influencing of the influencers, and I want people to know about it.
Yeah, right. We phone up hotels and say, "Give us a free room. We're going to tell our 30 Instagram followers all about it."
I'm up to 31 now. Thank you.
Okay. I bought this car, I don't know, on the Tecmotion YouTube channel. It doesn't seem to matter. I post up all kinds of stuff, but all anyone ever wants to see me do is fix Fox bodies. So I started looking for a project here a few years ago, and I knew about this project. It belonged to a customer, and it was kind of sitting there abandoned. Nobody wanted to proceed with it. And what happened is I ended up buying another project car out of somebody's driveway in Northwest Calgary. And we built that car. I called that project the Fridge. It was a totally stock white 93
nice car.
hatch. Yeah, it was a nice car. Yeah. And it was so stock. It had the air silencer horn and the rubber wrap on the distributor and all of that stuff. In fact, I got a comment the other day with somebody marveling at how it still had the air pump. Like, it was stockity stock. But somewhere in the middle of winter, while I was working on that white car, the guys who own this red one called me and said, "Oh, wife wants this car out of here. Do you want to come and buy it?" And I'm like, "No." But I went and looked at it anyway, and it was a roller, last registered in British Columbia, which is the next province over. So it's kind of a big deal to get one of these cars registered in Alberta if it was last registered in another province, because it has to go through a huge inspection process. And this car, really couldn't be inspected. It was just a roller, and there was a whole pile of parts, and the build on that to turn that into a production car, a stock type car that we could get registration and insurance on, is all on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it was a big project just to sort of put it back together. And I think realistically, this car was in a state where it required somebody like me to rescue it. Otherwise, it was heading for part out, scrap yard, whatever. And then when the Godzilla came out, I thought, well, we should do a project with the Godzilla. I did the same thing when the Coyote came out, and I built this 33 Ford street rod, which the whole idea of that was to build it around the Coyote, and that was really successful. So I thought, well, we'll do a Godzilla project. And I wasn't sure, just the way things were going, whether you were going to be able to get these engines in the future, or the price was going to go through the roof, or what. And one came up, so I bought it. And I stuck it on a stand, and I sat here looking at this red hatch with its nose in the air and no engine in it, and looking at the Godzilla and thinking, rather than go through a whole rigmarole where I build a stalker and then I go head cam intake and then maybe I take it out and swap something else in, let's just go straight to the Godzilla. So I built a stalker so I could get registered and insured, and then we went ahead to put the Godzilla in it. And what am I going to do with it?
Well, I just like to say that was bad decision number one. So bad decision number two, this is where I come in. Say, hey, Mathew, you want to go do Miles of Mayhem?
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to do a drag and drive. And frankly, at this stage of life I'm at, I thought I was kind of done with drag racing. I'd kind of put things aside, and I'm just as happy to sit in my lawn chair and eat a hot dog and discuss cars with guys at a car show as to get on track. But I'd always wanted to do a drag and drive. Unfortunately, in Alberta here, all the drag and drives were a long way away and finished a long way away. Like you'd have to drive to Texas
Or
to get
Florida
started, or
or-
Florida or
yeah.
someplace, and then it would end in North Carolina or someplace like that. And you got 5 days driving at the front side and 5 or 7 days driving at the backside, and then you got the event, and it's a big chunk out of the summer. And if you have a wilder car, they have a limit to how many miles you can put on them. So I never got to do it.
Yeah, well, plus we also have another fellow up here that's famous for doing that anyway, so we don't need to steal his thunder.
Yeah, Brent is famous for cowboying some stuff.
Well, I wasn't really talking about me, but yeah, I've done maybe 1 or 2 bad decisions myself. But we got the Canadian Chuck Norris that goes down to those drag and drives all the time. If you've heard of him, I think most people have in the drag and drive circuit.
You're talking about Richard
I'm
Guido?
talking about Richard. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty famous and he's up about an hour and a half north of us.
I don't really know him, but
No.
it's funny because years and years and years ago, I did a 5-window coupe for his dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Miles of Mayhem is a drag and drive event that has started up here in Western Canada. And it's the kind of event where you have, like 1,100 miles of driving, 6 tracks in 6 days. It's a real drag and drive. Some of the guys who are doing well in events like Sick Week or Hot Rod Power Tour, that kind of stuff, from here are in this event. Guys like Rich Guido, for example. And I thought, well, here's our opportunity to do something. But I looked around at my fleet of cars and I thought, geez, I don't really have any of these cars that are suitable for a drag and drive, because you need to have a car that's reliable, you need to have a car that's quick, and you need to have a car that's got enough space that you can carry everything that you need, because these events require you to carry everything along.
Well,
right?
I just like to point out, Mathew, that car is in a roller state was more suitable than any of the cars I have.
And Brent has about 50 cars.
Right.
There's no
Okay,
joke.
so
Go ahead.
yeah, well, this is going to be like, are you guys going to trailer something? Or are you going to throw it all in the hatch? What's the plan there?
No, you're allowed to pull a little trailer. And so in the drag and drive, you can't have anyone follow you. You can't have a emergency trailer follow you. You can't have a support crew follow you. You have to take everything that you need with you. And this car's a hatchback. And so I thought we would build the car as a hatchback so that there's room to put in slicks and a jack and a few tools and, our clothes and whatnot, and try to build a car that's reliable so it doesn't require a lot of fixing.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's where the Godzilla fits into the program, right?
Yeah, I thought if we do this with a Godzilla, which is just a little bit warmed over from stock, we ought to have a car that you put gas in and change the oil and, um, be able to actually drive it. So that's where we're at. And then, from a transmission standpoint, one of the
It's supposed to not do
one of the ways that you maximize your power is with the right transmission. So I think a lot of guys, they put in a transmission and they don't even think about, whether they're going to get their power maximized. As an example, with my, famous silver coupe that I went 944 at 143 naturally aspirated with, it it had a TKO 600 in it, and that transmission was just throwing our power away because every time you stepped on the clutch to shift gears, it would unload and then it has to reload. And I switched to a Lenco, a 4-speed Lenco, and so it still uses a clutch soft lock. I think it's been on your channel as well, that car. So your viewers, I'm sure, are familiar with it. Use a clutch, but once you get it rolling, you just start jerking levers and you never get that chassis unload. And it's a way that for what's essentially the same power car, we picked up 0.8 to a second. So when it came to
Wow.
deciding on transmission for this car, I originally thought about a DCT, a BMW dual clutch transmission, but from a drag race standpoint, it's starting to become a hot ticket to put the 8 HP in, and that transmission is the second quickest shifting transmission on the planet, and it's slower than the DCT by only a few milliseconds. However, it's a transmission that looks like it's easier to handle on the drag strip to get launched with, and it can be configured with a trans brake, like a software trans brake. It can be set up in this case, 4 different shift modes. So you can have a setup that at the touch of a button is, real mild on the street and then is a beast on the strip. So
Yeah, not only that, with a little bit of tuning on that transmission, it is nearly as fast as a DCT. Like it is just within a hair.
It's indistinguishable. I
Yeah.
think there's as a human, you cannot tell the difference. I think you could measure it on a log, but like I said, you're talking about a few milliseconds difference in terms of the shift, which is nothing.
Yeah.
So we think that this setup has the same kind of potential as the Lenco did in the silver car to run quick. So honestly, my expectation is that compared to this same combo with, say, a T56, we expect we're going to be 0.8 to a second quicker for everything else. Same weight, same suspension, same power on the Godzilla, everything.
Well, some of the other advantages of that 8 HP is the gearing. Like, you got to remember the second gear in that is about the same as a 700 R4 or something like that. First gear. So when you get, and then you double that for the first gear in this thing. So this got like with the gear set, you're looking at
right.
Pretty,
so people don't think about the gear ratios. And, when you're drag racing, one of the things you need to think about is what's your total multiplication in first. So to give you an idea, on my Lenco equipped car, it has a 488 final drive, 488. And it has a total multiplication in first of about 14.7 to 1. This car behind me has a factory 308 rear end, like a optional ratio 308.
Very nice on the highway.
And It has a total gear multiplication in first of about 14.46. So it's almost the same.
So, and you're getting, so that 60 foot, you're still going to have a very strong 60 foot.
Right. And you have a 0.66 overdrive as well. So, you know, I've had it out on the highway. We've done the highway testing on it, put about 500 miles on it, and it's done fine on the highway. And, you know, it rolls along 70 miles an hour at 1800 RPM, something like that. It's a real docile little car.
Well, you say it's docile, but I know what happens when you put your foot into it too. That gets scary fast.
Yeah, I scared Brent last night at like a third throttle.
Yeah.
On the street.
Wow. Yeah.
So what is this transmission typically found in, and like who even manufactures it?
Okay, so the ZF8 is put in quite a few cars, but this particular one is from an M5 BMW. That's a typical place for them, and they come in a couple different flavors. There's a 8 HP 45, a 70, and a 90.
Well, there's 75 and 90 and 95. I think there's even an 80, but there's the popular swaps are the BMW, like you said, and the Jag diesel. Those are probably the two most popular. However, all the Chrysler products, modern Chrysler products, use these transmissions too, like the Ram trucks, the Hellcats, the TRX. They use some version of this transmission.
That's right.
Yeah.
In fact, I think a popular swap in the Americas is the Dodge 8HP 70.
Yeah.
They're the same inside. Like if you have a Dodge one or you have a BMW one, they're the same inside, but the cases actually have some legit differences, including how you mount the transmission cross member and the whole deal. It's they are different.
Yeah, they are fully cast case for the application that they're going into. So the bell housing's different, everything. You can't remove the bell housing. So you either have to get an adapter set up or you have to have an engine that it already works with. So if you're doing a Hemi, that's not a problem because you got these things behind a Hemi, a modern Hemi. But when you're doing something like this, that's a whole different ballgame. And
Yeah.
we ran into some, it should fit fine. Nope.
I think, to be fair, it's our belief that this is the first time this combo
I
has
think it
ever been
is.
tried.
Yeah.
Godzilla plus 8 HP plus Foxbody. Now, there is a very, very small handful of Foxbodies out there that have or are in the process of spooling up 8 HPs. One that I know about in New Mexico has Chevy
LS.
power, Chevy LS power. And I saw one from Europe, which I don't know what kind of power it had, but I think it was 351W type stuff,
Yeah.
actually. But it was European. It had European plate, and it had an 8 HP. Because these transmissions are European transmission, they're more common there or in Australia.
Yeah. Well, and the modes on these things is incredible. Like I think you have 2 automatic modes and something like 5 manual modes or 4 manual modes that you can choose from.
Yeah.
So you can put it in like a sport mode or a total track mode. And the drift guys, they can set up a virtual clutch for clutch kicks, stuff like that. It is a very versatile transmission.
Well, this is another thing that's pretty unique about this build. It is built with virtual clutch. So what's in there is a hydraulic clutch pedal. So this car from, visually and, to get in and step on the pedals looks like a regular manual transmission Foxbody with a hydraulic clutch. That hydraulic clutch pedal is hooked up to what's known as a clutch simulator. And the clutch simulator provides pressure feedback so that the clutch feels like a clutch. In fact, it's quite heavy. It feels
like an old McLeod racing clutch.
Yeah, it feels like a pretty heavy hydraulic clutch. And then that provides a signal from a pressure transducer, which you feed into your transmission control system to provide a virtual clutch. So you can think of this as being the same kind of thing as with a virtual gas pedal, where you have an electronic pedal that you step on, and it's not actually linked to the engine. It's wired to the engine management system and provides a pedal position, and then the engine management system takes that as its sort of primary input for the throttle position.
Yeah.
Same thing with the clutch.
Yeah.
This provides a signal to the transmission controller, and that can engage the transmission as if it had a regular clutch,
It's pretty
without
wild. It's pretty
but it has a
wild.
torque converter.
Yeah,
So
it's awesome.
Yeah, this is kind of making my head hurt a little bit. I'm trying to like think my way through this. So, yeah, essentially you can slip this automatic transmission.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can drive it just like it was a clutch car. And I mean, one of the games here when I first conceived of this stunt was to put it in a class where we would called man pedal, where we would run against people who have synchro mesh manual transmissions, because the rules of the class said that it needed to have 3 pedals, and the third pedal needed to motivate the car, and it allowed all kinds of crazy stuff like
Yeah.
vertigate shifters and whatnot. So
That's our Smokey Eunuch
yeah,
homage going there.
yeah. You know, when you read these rule
Right.
books, you can find a way to walk between the raindrops, and I would say this setup has basically, I mean, never mind the virtual clutch. This setup's never been in a Foxbody, but with the virtual clutch setup, I think this whole kind of a setup has virtually never been seen, especially in the Americas, especially with V8 power. So it's a pretty unique deal, and we expected that we were going to keep this a secret, then show up at the event. They wouldn't be able to do anything about it because we're within the rules, and we'd get 1 year out of it and they would outlaw us. But at the at the end of the day here, we get the car done, and
We
you know
built a ringer.
we're looking at this event, and they've added a class called naturally aspirated. And of course, what do these guys run in drag and drive? They all run Chevy LS with turbos. That's what they run. And there's almost no Ford power in there as near as I can tell. And very unusual. Well, no, it's fairly unusual to have naturally aspirated power. And if they do, it's usually pretty mild. So we got looking at this, and you know, the guy who's been winning the naturally aspirated class when it's been offered is like a 1080 car. This car behind me, it's all just talk until you have some time slips. But we think this is a car that's certainly in contention for that kind of quick, and we might have inadvertently built a ringer car for a naturally aspirated class, which I guess has been my specialty over the years.
Yes,
anyway.
it has, actually, when you think about it. And it suits well
Go
to
ahead,
my
Brent. Sorry about that.
yeah, it suits well to my channel, because my channel is Mongrels Garage. That goes back to a nickname, but it also goes back to, I work on everything, a mix and match of everything, and I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah, it's a real dog's breakfast of
Yeah.
stuff. You know, this business is standing at the parts counter, and they ask you year, make, model, and you stare at them. Well, I mean, where do you even begin with this?
Yeah.
Is it import or domestic? Can we start there? No.
Yeah.
It's both.
I mean, there's a bunch of parts from Sweden in this, including the engine management system.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, so back to marrying this Godzilla to this 8 HP, an adapter, like, because you said that bell housing is part of the transmission, so it's some sort of an adapter plate?
Yes.
Beautiful piece, machined aluminum, just gorgeous. I'll let Mathew
Shelf
take it from
piece
there.
Okay, I mean, here's another thing about the 8 HP. You can buy used 8 HPs. They're very strong. These transmissions are very strong, so you don't have to take them apart and build them. You can make them stronger, but they're very strong in the first place. You can buy them. I think I paid $1,400 for this transmission. And you know, there's lots of alternatives out there you could spend 10 on and not be any better, really. So the transmission itself is inexpensive, but every time you turn around, there's a bunch more money to spend. And we use the DomiWorks adapter. Now they make a billet aluminum plate which bolts to the back of the Ford engine, and then it bolts to the BMW bell housing pattern on the 8 HP. And Then there is a torque converter coupler, which you bolt to the torque converter on the 8 HP, and you bolt to your flex plate on the Godzilla. Now, they sell this to work with this, and this particular adapter I think fits a whole bunch of stuff, including I think that adapter will also fit some of the Chevy applications. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of extraneous mounting holes in it and stuff for patterns that you don't have. But the long and short of it is, my guess is they never actually tried this on a Godzilla. And so the Godzilla bolt pattern is the same as on a Coyote, but there must be a depth difference, because when we went to put it together,
we were getting irritated.
It just didn't fit. And the torque converter adapter made 2 machine shop trips before it fit. In fact, okay, the first thing that happened is the transmission is a little bit bulky, and the Godzilla maybe sits a little bit high. And so we were having a very hard time getting it to clear the tunnel. And if you're going to race it like this, you've also got to get a transmission blanket in there so that if it explodes, it doesn't destroy you.
Throw everywhere, yeah.
Right, and that takes extra space. So
I'm just going to step in, but when you said it's bulky, it's actually still a very reasonable size. Like, I think it's still dimensionally, it's a little bit smaller than like a 4L80 even. It fits better.
It fits, but for whatever reason, we had top of the tunnel clearance problems. So I used the AJE K member in this. I know people use that Team Z K member, but the Team Z K member does not support power steering. And I didn't want to build this car for, thousands of miles of street driving with a heavy Godzilla in the front and have to have manual steering. So we bought an AJE K member. Maybe there's a difference with the AJE. Maybe it sits taller. I don't know. But I had to put in K member spacers. So we took it all apart again, put in K member spacers, tried again. And we had a day here where we bolted it up and we had the trans blanket on and we were ready to do the install. And it all went in because we did it without the converter adapter.
Except for missed it by that much.
Yeah, right. We did it without the converter adapter first to check because we'd had all this tunnel clearance problem and looked great. So we're like, celebratory lunch. So we go out for lunch, come back. Let's just finish this up. Yep. Go to put it in. Couldn't get it to mate.
It was literally just a few millimeters. Like just fractions.
It was held off 3/16 of an inch or more.
But that's still, a few millimeters.
Yeah.
It can vary.
Some number of millimeters, I guess.
But yeah, going to like 3/16 of an inch isn't a lot, right? But it was enough to go, what's going on here?
Yeah. So then it turned out that with the flex plate. Yeah, on the engine. You can't, because it sticks out too far. It's too deep. So you run an aftermarket flex plate and you need it to be SFI anyway. So all the aftermarket flex plates are welded on the inside dimension to the starter ring. Yeah. And this transmission adapter touched the welds. So it was held off by the welds.
Yeah. So literally it was that much. Like it's just like you said, 3/16 of an inch because it was just touching the welds. I'm like, come on.
Right. Yeah. So my next door neighbor is a machinist and he sometimes takes pity on me for foolish things like this. So plus he drives a BMW, so he kind of likes the idea of us putting this transmission in the Mustang. I went over there and I got him to chamfer the edge of this thing so that we could clear the welds. And I'm not sure you were here for the next fit, but I put it back in and I got it. I actually got the bolts in and I got it up flush, but there was no play in the converter. And that is bad news. Like it was jammed. If you assemble an automatic transmission like that, you're going to destroy the pump and you're going to probably destroy your thrust bearing too on the back of the engine. So we had to take it out again and I machined off I don't know what 125 or
Something like that.
140 or something off of the face of this beautiful anodized machined aluminum adapter, and then I got clearance, and then it worked. So it was a disappointing part
Holy,
because it was supposed to be made for this application, but it didn't fit. No way, no how. And before you start machining something like this, it looks good. You got to be
yeah.
sure.
Damn
So
sure.
we're trying everything. Like, what did I do wrong here? Where am I hung up? And is this really why I'm hung up? And it was.
Well,
So
we went in I think we went in 3 or 4 times, and then we decided, I think we pull the engine back out and have a look at it?
I
I
had
think
the
we did.
engine in and out a few
Yeah,
times, but
so I think we pulled the engine back out and actually looked at, okay, what's going on here? Let's take a look and see. And we finally figured it out that it's the welds on the flex plate.
yeah, so that was problem one, but then the whole thing was too long. So,
Yeah.
of course, after I had it machined down, I had to rechamfer the edges because you'd still
Right.
have the weld problem, right? So,
But there's typical build problems when you're putting things together that aren't meant to go together originally, right?
it's a hazard of doing a like a pioneering type of swap. So, you have problems with stuff that doesn't fit on swaps that are well known, but usually when you buy part A and part B that are supposed to go together for a well-known swap, they go together and you might have to file something
That's right.
or swear at it or something,
Well,
but they usually go together. This needed to be adjusted.
and some people like that I know, they get out part C, which weighs about 13 pounds.
Yeah.
BFH.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Matthew, this reminds me, I want to say that you maybe fell into an R&D position back when you were fucking around with that Lenko. And now here you are falling into an R&D position with this adapter plate.
Yeah, I don't know if guys are going to be phoning me up. They used to phone me about the Lenko swap. In reality, not too many guys swapped a Lenko into a Foxbody, and like when Cletus McFarland did it, it was all novel or whatever. But I actually got a bunch of hits on my channel because
He did it.
I had a running Lenko Foxbody like whatever 10,
Years
12
ago.
years I had a Cletus. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Holy shit.
There's no rear transmission cross member setup that works for this either. You're on your own there. So
Had to build one?
I discussed this with Josh there in New Mexico, who, at the back of the assembly, I mean, he's LS in the front, so that wasn't very
Yeah.
all that helpful with our Godzilla mount up problems. But in the back of it should be the same thing. And I looked at what he did, and what he had done is I don't know, he had the Dodge version, so the mounting pattern's actually
little
different
different,
back
yeah.
there, but he had got a mount from somebody in the US and then that was made for this, and then he had taken an AJE transmission cross member, which is made for Turbo 400 and T56, I guess, and modified that to work. And I ended up doing the same thing. I got an AJE transmission cross member and I modified it, which basically meant cutting the mount pad off and then welding in pieces of flat bar to lower the mount pad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made an all custom mount setup for the back of the transmission out of plate steel, 3/16,
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I don't think it's quarter, it's 3/16 plate steel. And then we used energy suspension type isolators, urethane or Delrin or whatever they are, isolators between our homemade transmission mount and the modified transmission cross member. Now I tried a Stifler's T56 cross member, but the pads were in the right place, but it doesn't have that swoop back, and the 8HP is fat at the backside.
Yeah.
So you've got to have something that kind of swoops back around it. You can't have something like the Stifler's.
And I'll say he did a fine job because, I mean, that looks factory, man. It looks like something that rolled out of a factory. It looks great. think it works great. But that being said, a grinder and paint can hide a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have a
So-
perfectly solid piece of work there.
Yeah, I
Brent
think you
might
do.
be a little bit optimistic about my skill set.
I don't know. I was impressed. But that's not saying much. I'm easily impressed sometimes.
It's a lot. It's a lot easier to weld stuff up on the welding table than it is stand on your head under the car.
Yeah.
That is true. So, does it utilize the stock mounting position too for transmission mount?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Wild.
So I have the stock mounts on the body.
Okay,
And-
very nice.
And then the other
Holy shit, boys! This is a wild car.
Oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. You should see how the exhaust went.
Yeah. I
Oh,
bought
right.
I bought the ultimate race headers, which are the headers that everybody supposedly uses for the Foxbody Godzilla swap. But I guess I would say one of the reasons I suspect that there aren't actually that many of them out there running is because they didn't fit. And I don't think my application is very far out from
The stock.
as far as the headers are concerned, from what they're supposed to be made for, but they didn't fit. No way, no how. Now maybe they fit better with the Team Z K member. I
They
don't know.
might, yeah.
I've been racking my brain as to why they were so terrible, because they were terrible.
Actually, the one side fit okay, didn't it? Or did you have
No,
you
because
had
at
to
the
modify
back
that
it
one
didn't.
too.
It was
That's
all
right.
terrible at the
That's right,
collector.
yeah.
So they had different problems, but maybe they fit with the Team ZK member. I don't know. But if you want to run power steering, you got to run the AJEK member. So that's what we ran. And also, I wanted power brakes with a vacuum brake booster, and
that was another one.
I'm glad that I have them, but I don't think the engine is positioned particularly different because of that, but maybe that was some factor. The long and short of it, though, is on the passenger side, the front three tubes had to be cut off and completely replaced with tubes that were tucked much tighter to the body and to the engine. And on the driver's side, where the collector exited, it exited like this far in front of try and get that so you can see. Maybe if it's just audio, you're not going to see, but I'm holding up about 4 inches.
Yeah.
It exited about that far in front of the transmission cross member. And by the way, this is after we put half-inch drop spacers on the K member. So
Wow.
I think without those, it would have touched the floor.
Yeah.
And there was there's no way to just directly put an exhaust on there, because you'd have to go right through where the transmission crossmember bolts up. So I don't know. Anyway, the good news is that I have Chris McQuay on my side here.
Big shout out to Chris at Unobtainium, man.
Yeah. Some of your viewers might be familiar with Chris from Unobtainium, but he is amongst the very best welders and exhaust fabricators in the
For
world.
sure.
He's a guy who's passed the zirconium weld test. I mean, I didn't even know he could weld that stuff together. His primary business is producing like titanium exhausts for McLarens, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, very impressive guy.
Yeah, a typical exhaust in his shop starts around $10,000 and then up from there. So,
Hey, we got this trailer park Mustang. You want to work on it?
yeah, Chris and I are friends, and we've been friends a long time. And if you have something like this, don't call him and ask him to do it, because he's not going to. But I talked to him at the beginning of the project, and he's one of my go-to guys. And when you're going to do something like this, you need a rollover system, and you need an exhaust system, and you're going to need some welding that matters on it somewhere. So I always call the guys that help me with these projects and run the project by them and see if they like it. And if they do, then, and say they'll help with it, then, it makes it a lot easier to proceed with the project. And if they say, yeah, I'm not helping you with that, Mathew, it's too out there, or it's too much garbage or whatever, then maybe you better rethink the project. So, but anyway, he'd agreed to work on it for me, and he was here. He hand adjusted these headers in the shop, and then he built a custom stainless exhaust, which is, the sort of least exotic stuff that they work with over
Knocked
there.
it out of the park, though.
Yeah,
Just
and it's an
knocked
over the axle 3-inch exhaust X pipe, and it's got
tucked. Like it's so nice.
it's got the stainless bros mufflers on it. Sounds good, and
he was even foolish enough to put his name on it.
there's a picture. I don't know if you follow my Instagram. I posted this picture from the lower perspective with the car up on the hoist, and this is not a car that anyone would say is a nice car. It's actually a real solid car, but
I'd say it's a nice car, but you've seen my cars.
yeah, it's not a nice car. It's not a Fred Flintstone car like
No,
the Chevy you have, but it's not a nice car. However, all of the key stuff that rusts on them, this car is solid. It's good, but it has some pretty
Good
terrible
bones.
looking rear fender drop-offs, trunk drop-offs, whatever you want to call them. It's a hatch, but and on the passenger side, there's a full rust through there. It looks terrible, and
that is speed reduction. That is speed increase.
That
is weight reduction.
reduction.
Yeah, that's what we call that. Right?
Well, anyway, I have this picture from a low profile where you can see, this horrible rusted out fender drop off, and peeking out from underneath it is the custom badging on Chris's exhaust. It says unobtainium signature Chris McQuay.
It's great. I love it.
I posted. I said, Chris, you're gonna rue the day you ever worked on this junk pile. But anyway,
Totally.
It might be your clue that this car is not just straight out of the trailer park. And Brent and I disagree on what a rat rod is, but my idea of a rat rod is a car that looks like the chassis looks like it's, been taken out of a field or storage or whatever, and is got, the patina of wear on it from the years, but that underneath and inside is thoroughly modern and reworked. And that's what this car is. So.
Well,
Okay.
I don't think it looks like it's coming. Like the clear coat's not even peeling on most of it.
I went down to Western Motorsports the other day. I mean, there's some other guys who helped me with this stuff, and I went down there to pick up a door seal and some hatch struts and stuff, some sort of last minute things. And I pulled in, and they had they have a Godzilla S550 with a DCT in it, and they had it out because they're still working on their setup on that. And when I pulled in, Shannon came out and said, "Oh, I saw this ratty looking old Fox coming. I thought this some kid who dragged this car out of the weeds, and he'll be here to whatever, get an E303 cam or something, and maybe some repair parts, like LMR repair parts or whatever." But it's just Mathew.
Psych.
Yeah.
Well, Brent, so what's your take on a rat rod that differs so much from Mathew's?
Well, at this point, if I had a picture, I would just insert the picture of my Parisienne, which is it's very mostly rust colored, let's say.
Okay.
But honestly, it does have good bones under that car. I wouldn't drive if it didn't, but it's got Bondo on the side and dents and rust and holes in it, and it looks.
Yeah, but powertrain wise, it's not updated either, really.
No, it is. It's LS swapped with the.
Oh, that is an LS in it?
Yeah, that's an LS in that 67.
Okay.
So Parisienne is the Canadian pseudo Pontiac. It's kind of like a Bonneville. So it's a 1967 Parisienne. And I do, because I don't have like most people, I don't have a lot of money. So I'll do junkyard budget, most of it myself. So I put a 5.3 just out of a Chevy Silverado in it with the 4L 60 transmission, because I just want a nice highway cruiser. I even chopped down the drive shaft myself and balanced it out and everything. And I mean, the car cruises great. And so it's fuel injected. It's got overdrive, but it looks like a 1967 Pontiac Parisienne that we did literally drag out of the field, cleaned the mice out and cleaned it up a little bit. And Yeah, but it drives great. It's fantastic.
There
Right.
are some of these guys who have a car they call a rat rod, and I mean, lots of times these are hot rods. And
They're
the
pretty
body
rough,
is a mess, and they welded some saw blades to the hood or something like
yeah.
that. And but the powertrain and all that is all junky too. And I think, in my view, those are kind of a surrender rather than a
Oh,
concept.
that's where
And
you need a tetanus shot to drive the car.
yeah,
That's going a little extreme in my
exactly. Like the whole thing's really just sort of put together out of junk.
Yeah.
Where my concept for a rat rod is maybe the car looks a little dated, but underneath is all
Well,
completely fresh.
the term I would use in this car would be a sleeper.
Yeah.
I know Mustangs aren't
Yeah.
traditionally considered sleeper cars, but when you, well, let's just say triple the horsepower from or maybe more from the stock, it's a sleeper at that
Yeah.
point.
We did get a stock hood back on it.
Yeah, it's got as you can see, it's got the stock hood.
Yeah.
This thing looks stock until you get a little closer to it. Oh, remember the guy yesterday?
Oh yeah, we're out for a little cruise on the street, and you're not particularly concerned about language on this channel, are you?
Nope.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
at
So
all.
we're sitting there idling at the traffic light, and this guy's yelling at us, "Oh, what's in that?" or whatever. And
That's got cammed up, isn't it?
yeah, he says cammed up or whatever, and Brent tells him, "No, it's a 7.3 Godzilla." And what did he say?
He said, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
No way. And
Yeah.
he's still looking. He's driving off. He's looking, listening. It's like, it was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, it
He
was.
was pretty excited.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, what caught his attention initially was the iPad on the dash.
Oh yeah, because the dash is a Galaxy tablet.
Oh, okay.
But it's got all the information you could ever want on that thing.
Yeah, it's so the engine management we use is called Max ECU. It's a Swedish system, and the reason for Max ECU is because it will control the engine and the transmission, and you need to have both of those controllers tightly coupled with these modern systems because they need to be able to do things like throttle blips when they're changing gears. So we went with Max. It's kind of the hard way. There's no kit for this. I'm pretty sure that mine and Western Motorsports are the only two Godzillas running Max ECU in the world right now. But I think we're showing the way with this. They chose a BMW DCT. I chose the 8HP. So the Max controls both of those transmissions, and
That's fairly good so far.
it works pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, they have a system called M Dash, which runs on like an Android tablet, or it'll run on one of these Android dashes. Western have some kind of it's meant to be like a Android dash, and they have kind of bolted to their steering column. In my case, I have mounts set up to bolt a Galaxy tablet to the dash in the place where the cluster would normally be, and it is possible to put the cluster surround back on it. I'm a little bit tossed up as to exactly what to do because you still need access to the buttons on top of the tablet. So for now, I just have it mounted open, and then I made some holders to hold the light switches and the hazard switches on the left and right side of the dash. But with the tablet, you have every PID you can imagine. You can look at anything you can imagine from the Max ECU. You can configure the dash however you want with gauges or text readouts. You can change the sizes of the text readouts, and you can put Bluetooth button controls on the tablet, so you can control aspects of the tune-up from there. For instance, I have a tune selector. So with the tune selector, I can run through 4 different tune-ups on the car, as well as the 4 different transmission modes that it has, automatic modes.
Yeah, that came in by accident because what happened was I said, "Hey, Matthew, how about getting some tunes in the car?" So I meant the stereo. He being him, he just no, just kidding.
Yeah, he's giving me a hard time. We're on the dyno yesterday, and he's like, tune-up. I thought you meant tunes. Where's the radio?
Right.
Anyway, another thing I have on there is a button called slicks, and the slicks that I have for the car are Mickey Thompson Pro Bracket radials. They're a different diameter than the street tires, so when I press that button, it selects a different tire profile so that you get your speedometer and shifting correct. And another thing I will say that is pretty neat about it is Max supports cruise control. Now, this is a no parts cruise control, right? It's electronic throttle, and my cruise control is run with Bluetooth buttons on the dash. So I can,
that's going to be nice on that long leg.
This ridiculous car behind me, I can put it in cruise control and just sit back and relax.
Well, okay, I'm actually glad you said that something like that, because back when you guys were going back and forth on rat rod definitions, I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on, would that car, in your opinion, fall under street car or race car? Which would you define it as?
I'd almost go street car.
Yeah, it's a very streety car. You know, when you have cues like cruise control, and I do actually have a radio for it. We haven't had a minute to put it in. And
I think that's the key definition right there. As soon as you can put a radio into it and actually hear it and you don't have to wear, earplugs, it's a street car.
Yeah, maybe. It's got power windows and locks. It's like I said, it does have cruise control. It has a heater. It doesn't have air conditioning, but it has a heater. And it's docile enough to drive on the street. And it's the kind of car that runs on, fuel you buy at a regular gas station. There's no, 110 octane or whatever to get it to work. And my opinion is that this car should be the kind of car that you change the oil and put gas in every once in a while, and you could literally drive it to work every day if you wanted.
Yeah, the other side of that is with all that modern programming available, you can actually select, like you said, some tunes, the transmission behavior, everything else. So you can say, I want this thing in full street mode, and it'll tame it right down. And I want it to do automatic. I don't want to worry about hard shifts or anything. It'll soften the shifts. It'll do everything, and it'll make it very streetable. And you say, okay, I'm going to run this on the track. It'll firm everything up. It'll quicker throttle response, all sorts of things. Like, you can dial this thing in how you want. It's pretty cool.
Right. I haven't actually tried
how do you
it
control
in
the turn?
I haven't tried it in
Sorry,
Max,
Matthew.
but it also has power management. So you can use traction control on it.
Wow. How is the transmission controlled? Is it like electronically selected, or
Yeah.
are you like a lever?
It's all electronic, and so there's a BMW shifter in there, which the connection to the car is a wiring harness. That's how
CAN
the
bus.
Yeah, it's a CAN bus shifter. So there's the two CAN bus wires, and there's like power and ground and lights or something like that, and that's wired into the Max, and the Max communicates with it via CAN bus. Now, inside an 8 HP, there is a separate transmission control unit, and Max provides a firmware reflash for that to work with their system.
Actually, that's a good point, because I think this is one of the advantages of the Max. The Max doesn't control as many varieties of that transmission as, say, the Turbolamic. But the Turbolamic, actually, you have to go inside the transmission, remove that control board, and modify it. And there's instructions for doing that. But if you're a little nervous about touching circuit boards and stuff, then you might not want to do that, and that's where the Max is a little more beneficial than the Turbolamic controller. I think there's 3 different controllers. I don't remember the third.
CAN TCU, I think, is the other one.
It,
I would say the two popular ones, really popular ones, are Turbolamic and Max.
Yeah.
And with Turbolamic, that controller costs as much as Max, and all it does is control the transmission. And like Brent said, you have to open the transmission up, take take the transmission control unit, which is inside the case, out.
So the valve body has to come off. And,
yeah, that's right. And then you have to solder a bunch of stuff on it and add some wiring and then put it all back together. So it's quite an involved process. Where with Max, you plug a flasher tool into the access port, the wiring port on the back of the transmission, and you reflash their custom firmware, and then it works with their system. So now I think you probably get more direct control over all the clutches and stuff in the transmission with Turbolamic.
Yeah.
But after some initial teething pains, I feel like actually I got this car driving with Max
Very nice.
very, very nice. And it also works with this virtual clutch arrangement. So.
And we even got the transmission lock up to, or the launch controller. Sorry, it's slipping my mind right now. What am I talking about? What did we do yesterday?
Yeah, the trans brake.
That's it.
We got the trans brake to work yesterday on the street. It's fine to say you can make it docile for the street, and you can, and it drives fine if you drive it, easy. But if you're abusive with it, yeah, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble fast with it on the street for sure with a car like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was quite shocking when it launched, and you like you said, it was like 1/3 throttle, and I was just kind of researching something, and the thing launches, and I smashed my head at the back of the seat. I'm like, holy crap! It's like, oh, and that didn't even have full traction.
Yeah, the car looked pretty good coming off the dyno, and it's pretty strong. And then if it works the way we think, where we have this fast shifting, lots of gears to get to direct. Super high gear multiplication in first transmission. We think we got a winner.
Well, and I compare that. The thing I have it to compare it to is when I was down in Arizona. I was at Radford Racing. I got to try out the Demon 170 and launch that down the track. And I got, I don't know, and it was really hot, but about 10.6 or 10.8 in that car, I think, on a quarter mile. And this thing's capable of doing the same thing. And that car picked its front tires off when it left the line down there. And this thing performs like that thing does, and it's crazy.
Yeah, well, tomorrow's gonna tell us a lot because I'll have it at the Street Legals in Medicine Hat tomorrow night, and we're gonna stay at least for the Saturday of the small tire shootout down there to try and get enough passes that we have. Well, I learn how to drive the car, and we can work on the suspension and launch setup. It's got launch control and it's got trans brake, and you can, with software, you can configure, your two-step and so on, so that you can get it to launch just right. We don't know if it needs to hit at 2,000 or 4,000.
Honestly, I think that's our biggest challenge, is just learning it at this point. Because it's a learning curve for sure, to get the trans brake to work, to get the launch control to work, to know what to launch at, and start playing with those variables. And you throw the virtual clutch in there too. That's another thing that can mess you up a little bit. So
I think what I'm going to do on the first pass tomorrow is I'm just going to roll up in street mode and with like a 2,000 RPM two-step on it, and let it go like that, and see what happens, because I don't want to put it in the wall on the first pass.
No, we don't want to do that. Yeah.
Well, and is Medicine Hat, Alberta, the closest track that you guys would have access to as well?
From my shop, Medicine Hat and Rad Torque in Edmonton, Leduc, Nisku, are almost identical miles. But Medicine Hat is further from the mountains, and weather is more settled there. And my experience racing down there has always been that if there's a way to hold a drag race, they hold it. And it can be, I've been there where it's been pouring rain, and 2 hours later racing is back on. Where I've been in Edmonton where, a little sprinkle happens and
for the day.
They boot you out. I mean, I even got yelled at one time there because apparently I wasn't chaining my car to the trailer fast enough for the track staff. I don't. It's not like we were having a barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm actively chaining the thing down to get out of there, but. And they know I came from Calgary. It's 200 miles away. So
Matthew, come on, cut them. It might have been bingo night or something. We don't know.
I don't know.
Gotta get the
Anyway,
bingo.
whatever.
Yeah.
I shouldn't rag on Edmonton, and I haven't raced there for a long time, but I feel like Medicine Hat's a track where you got a better chance of there actually being a race, and there's a few reasons for it, not the least of which is that the weather is more settled because you're further from the mountains.
Well, we're just happy
Right.
to have at least something within striking distance, because we used to have a track in Calgary, and they shut that
Calgary.
down.
Yeah.
How many years ago now?
Yeah, it's 10 years ago or something.
15
They
at least,
closed
I
our
think,
track
yeah.
for sure. I mean, here, you never knew what was going to happen weather-wise because the weather's pretty unsettled here. So it could be great,
I don't know.
or it could be a big thunderstorm.
Did a lot of secret streets though, and that was fantastic. I love going to Secret Street at Race City.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that
Yeah.
it's gone. But that was a great time.
Have they knocked Race City down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone.
It's
Oh,
all
they have.
gone.
It's all landfill now or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah. There's
Oh,
Rimbey
shit.
as well, which you can go to. And Rimbey looks like it's closer than Nisku, but it really isn't that much closer. And it's 8th mile only. I've never raced there, but it's on the Miles of Mayhem stop. So
we're going to.
we're gonna see
Fingers
what Rimbey's all about. And everybody I talk to about Rimbey says it's great.
It's supposed to be good. Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
So, but it's a track I've never raced at, and I've never raced at Area 53 at Forsberg either, which is a sort of a little gulch in east central Alberta. It's east and a little south of Edmonton. So, the closest place there is Hardisty, and Hardisty's claim to fame is it's the start point for all the big pipelines that go south into the U.S.
Right. When does Miles of Mayhem start?
July the 26th. So we're going to run, our plan anyway is to run YouTube lives from the event. We'll try to run one each day. To be honest, we've never been on the event before, and I don't know if we can say keep a schedule where we stop and have a YouTube live at 5 o'clock every day or what.
Right.
But of course, live videos get saved so you can play them back on YouTube. So we're going to try and have some reporting every day on what's going on with us, and maybe some other stuff that's going on the event.
Can we talk about one of the other parts on the car that might be involved in the lives?
Yeah,
because it was probably the best fitting part on the car.
if you watch my channel, I guess I'm I don't really take sponsorships and whatnot generally, but I am an Evil Energy affiliate, and I have a code and an affiliate link and all of this stuff. And they gifted us some parts for the car. In fact, when we received a shipment of free parts from Evil Energy, I said to Brent, now we're big time influencers.
Yeah,
and that's
when
why we got
chains.
gold $sign necklaces. I told everyone I'm going to get a gold $sign necklace. I'm going to forget about all my friends and just hang around with sycophants now that I'm an influencer.
But I'll tell you what, those parts, like that pressure regulator alone, that's a nice kit.
Yeah, I mean, I've used a lot of cheap fuel system parts and whatnot over the years, Performance World, for instance, and I've used lots of good stuff, Aeroquip, Earls, those kind of parts. Evil Energy has always looked like good parts to me, but I've never really had occasion to use it. Brent's used it quite a bit.
I've used it a lot.
And when they reached out to me, I said, yeah, okay, fine. I'll take you guys on. And they sent us some parts for the car. So it's got their fuel pressure regulator, and it's got their the top side fuel system fittings and lines and stuff are primarily theirs, and it's got a trans cooler that they
that was a nice piece.
that they sent me as well, and it's got another part which I didn't get free, I paid for myself, but they make an 8-inch tall degas bottle, radiator overflow bottle kit, which was just the ticket for this, because when it comes to putting the Godzilla in one of these, you can forget everything you know about laying out accessories in Fox bodies. The coolant hoses are opposite what a regular Fox body is, and places you'd put a catch can are not that great. And so what I needed was a short coolant overflow bottle. And I called my friends at Western to try and get one. I thought this was just a phone call, and they're like, "Oh no, everything's 12 inches long or 14 inches long, Matthew." And then nobody makes anything like that. And I thought, oh, but my friends at Evil Energy. And I go on Amazon, and sure enough, they make one that's 8 inches tall.
Yeah.
It's got a little vent hole in the top. It comes with the brackets
perfect.
and
Perfect.
hose and all
It's
this
a nice
stuff.
piece, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't know, it costs 29
Yeah.
bucks next day delivery or something like
Yeah.
that. So anyway, that's on the car too. But what Brent's getting at is, and we haven't finalized things, but we reached out to our friends there at Evil Energy, and I think they're going to try and be along with us on the Miles of Mayhem. And we don't know for sure what form that's going to take,
Yeah.
but maybe they'll have a few giveaways associated with us. Maybe they'll be contingent on how well we do.
Yeah.
More generous if we
We're just
win.
happy that they're they're happy to be part of it, honestly. And like that fuel pressure regulator, it came with everything you needed, a gauge, everything.
Yeah.
It was a nice kit.
Yeah. I actually have no reservations about recommending this stuff. And let me tell you, I mean, I told you about the headers, and I told you about the Domi Works adapter and all this stuff. This is a big dollar stuff and doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. And
Yeah.
I spent more money making those headers fit than the headers cost in the first place, if you want to know the truth.
Right.
And I should have just had them custom made because it had taken less time and done better, I think. But
Yeah, possibly.
but the Evil Energy stuff, it's the stuff that actually fit. And like that trans cooler, I didn't have to drill any holes. The brackets they sent with it lined right up with holes on the
It was uncanny.
radiator
Yeah.
support. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
These holes are like lined up.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they did that on purpose or what, but anyway, that stuff worked great. It
And-
didn't leak, and the install's good, and so I have no reservations about recommending
you know what?
it.
As long as you follow the instructions, I've never had a problem with their fittings or their lines or anything. Like, never had a leak, not once. And I've used their stuff a fair bit. So
Anyway, with any luck, we're going to have a little bit of promotional stuff from Evil Energy to announce along with our Miles of Mayhem run. So
That's
that's
cool.
under discussion. So I don't want to blow too much smoke about this, but I think it'd be great if they gave out some discount codes to guys because we win. And
Totally.
we're doing it for fun. Miles of Mayhem is just something I wanted to do for fun, but I'm sure I don't really plan to lose at things. So our objective is to win. That's our objective. So, and I think we built a car that has a chance.
I'm just happy to be along
Yeah.
for the ride. That's really his objective, but I'm down for it. Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, imagine, suppose we put all of these Chevy powered guys on the trailer and we got Ford power. I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It would be like old times.
I'm going to cry, Matthew.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a Chevy guy, but
Yeah.
I always like to mock the Fords. Don't get me wrong. I like the Fords too.
It turns
certain
out that's how you get a viral video on YouTube. It's just rage bait some Chevy guys.
It works well.
Yeah. How many days is the race over?
It's 6 tracks in 6 days. So you race Sunday in Edmonton, Monday in Rimbey, Tuesday in Medicine Hat, Wednesday in Saskatoon, Thursday in Forestburg, and then Friday back in Edmonton, and then head home.
Wow. Yeah, that is a lot of miles. I'm actually, this is just hitting me now, an hour and a bit into this conversation, but I'm like, I wonder why the hell they didn't call it Kilometers of Mayhem. I know it doesn't have the same ring as Miles of Mayhem, but if you're going to try and take a stab at doing a little bit of a Canadian twist on things, change it right up.
Maybe it's to encourage our American friends to come up and join us. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe these old boys are kind of like me, and
Still deal with miles.
view metric as reminding you of Trudeau.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I switch everything
we
to
almost went
Imperial.
the whole podcast without getting political, Matthew.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's not get into politics, but I mean, I don't know. I was raised in rural Alberta, and everything's laid out in miles. The Dominion Land Surveys in miles, and everything's measured in acres, and so.
And we're both Gen Xers, so we were raised on both systems more or less.
Yeah, maybe the guys who run Miles of Mayhem are like that, or maybe it's just a better alliteration. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. How many years have they been doing it now?
It's 5 or 6, I think.
So it's 5 or 6, I think.
When it first came out, I thought, wow, this is great. I'm finding there's a drag and drive here. And I looked at the cars that I had, and I thought, none of these cars, I got a whole bunch of cars, and none of these cars are suitable. We can't carry any, like my street rod, it'd be quick and it can drive and all that. But I mean, if I take my wife somewhere, she has to sit with the cooler between her legs, and there's barely room for like your coat.
You can put a poster in the trunk or something like that, right?
I have there's a place behind the driver's seat where I have a little like holder where I can put a laminated sheet of paper in as a show sheet for the car. It's like there's no storage space in it. It's terrible. So
yeah.
And then, cars like my Silver Coupe, it's a pretty badass car, but
not streetable.
It's street legal. It can be driven on the street, but it's made to handle, 30-mile prover cruises, not 1,500-mile trips or 1,000-mile trips. So,
well, it really is going to be closer to 15. Well, I guess we're not going to drive the car up to Edmonton, are we? Are we trailing it?
Yeah, no, we're going to drive it to Edmonton. Yeah,
so it's going to be closer to 1,500 miles by the time we're done.
You can truck the car to the start point, and then they put your, truck and trailer in a secure compound. And if they see your truck and trailer after the event
race
starts, you're disqualified. But I said to Brent, I mean, there's a non-zero chance that we end up broke down. I have AMA Premier RV. That's like AAA Auto Club.
That's why I want the tunes. So when we're sitting on the side of the road, we're at least entertained.
Yeah. Right? So whatever, if it's a disaster, we'll get them to truck the car back here. But if we get them to truck it back to Tecmotion in Calgary and my truck and trailer's in Edmonton, I'm like, no, I got to go get somebody to take me up to Edmonton to get the truck and trailer. So, let's have a little faith. If it'll drive 1,100 miles, it'll drive 1,500. Yeah. So,
well, you say that, but remember that incident I had with the 67.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a fun time. And I think I asked you this earlier, but no trailer. You're throwing all the shit that you guys are taking with you right in the car.
Yeah. I mean, the Mustang hatchback is, pretty cavernous, really. And really, I think what we need is slicks, a jack, a socket set, a combo wrench set, and a little box of miscellaneous tools, then a bag with, my race gear, helmet, jacket, gloves, shoes, all that stuff, and
little suitcase
a couple of knapsacks with overnight stuff in it. I mean, I even saw some competitors say, just buy a new t-shirt every day. I don't know. Throw the other one out the track. I don't know, whatever. But there's room for all that. I posted on my Instagram, I did have a Stampede barbecue this year, and I used this car to get the groceries for that. So.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, grocery getter.
It's a real grocery getter. Yeah.
Which,
absolutely,
that's good software. That's the catchphrase for the Stampede barbecue.
Yeah, I developed a system for handling the fire in an offset smoker. I mean, you're in barbecue country now, but I get the system set up on the smoker, and it can keep the cook chamber temperature within like 3 degrees Fahrenheit of a set point for 4 or 5 hours, and without having to mess with little doors or anything like that. So when people come to my Stampede Barbecue, they're supposed to say, that's good software.
Right.
It is good. It is good.
I'm a pretty good
Yep.
pit master.
Yeah.
So one thing we didn't touch on, and I can't believe it hasn't made its way into the conversation yet, but suspension. What's going on there?
Okay, so I guess I did mention we have the AJE cross member up front. We got BMR tubular control arms up front. I got strange 10 or 11 way adjustable struts with, I think they're QA1 coilovers. It's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff that was bought to be as modestly priced as it could be. And I think the BMR control arms are a little bit stronger maybe than AJEs, as well as cheaper. So that's what's in the front. Then in the back, it's got the 8.8 has been built. It's got C-clip eliminators, got welded up axle tubes. It's got a girdle cap. It's got disc brakes on the back as well. It's got SN style disc brakes, 31 spline Moser axles, and it's got Maximum Motorsports height adjustable lower control arms, and it's got Steeda double adjustable upper control arms, and it's got strange 10-way shocks in the back. And then those control arms in the back have spherical rod ends on the housing end and urethane on the body end. So you've got some concession to the street.
And all the torque boxes have been reinforced.
Yeah, it's got all the torque box reinforcement kit. It's got Western Motorsports X-Track subframe connectors, which I think those are the best subframe connectors that have been made for these Mustangs, but they are sadly look like they're out of production. So I have one of the last sets of those. They include a torque box reinforcement, and then it has the BMR upper and lower torque box reinforcement kit as well. Then chassis-wise, it has Unobtainium Chris did an all-custom 6-point rollover system in the car, and it's got swing out and removable door bars, so we can take them out for the street. So
Okay. And that's all mandatory as per the Miles of Mayhem rules and regs.
Well, you have to meet the NHRA regulations for the track that you run at. So a lot of this stuff is safety regulations under the NHRA. You know, it has a drive shaft loop, and you have to have outboard axle retention, and disc brakes don't count as outboard axle retention. So we used to do these setups with weld-on housing ends, but the guys who did that here, Trailmaster, threw in the towel, and now nobody does it, and you have to be jigged for it. And so I've never resorted to C-clip eliminators, but I put the Moser C-clip eliminators on, and whatever it was. That's another thing that there was some fitment issues with, and with the axles and so on, but we got through it all. It's got the center section, a new GT500 center section, so 31 spline and with the carbon fiber clutches.
Essentially, there's nothing on this car that hasn't been touched.
Yeah. It's a literally every nut and bolt.
And we still have to adjust the headlights.
Yeah, the headlights are aimed wrong. Well, we don't need that for this weekend.
No. But you told me to remind you. I reminded you.
Yeah. I took it to the Remington Museum show on the weekend, mainly as a way to get some highway miles on it. And so that's at Wetaskiwin. And from here to Wetaskiwin is, I don't know, 150 miles or something like that. So 300-mile round trip, I guess. And we ended up coming back in the dark and for the last of it, and
one of these things.
my headlights are aimed pretty low, so we're gonna have to do something about that.
I can see the first dot on the road real good.
The
other one's not so much.
Right. And you're worried about deer and,
exactly, around here, especially this time of year when the crops are tall. They just pop right out on you,
for sure. So
yeah.
I would say, in terms of the suspension and chassis, it's all top shelf stuff. It's fairly,
it's planted.
Yeah, but it's fairly systematic in doing this kind of stuff on a Foxbody. These are not, pioneering steps. It's formulaic, but it's a formula that works. And the car's like many times stiffer than it was before, and it should plant a lot better.
I even mentioned that just when we were taking up and down on the lift, and we didn't have all that stuff in there yet. And you had the big heavy engine up front, and you could see the car flex a little bit, and the doors would hang up a little bit. And then I come back in, and he's got everything welded in and everything reinforced. And it's like that thing was straight. It didn't budge. Just like, whoa, is that ever a difference?
Yeah, Fox bodies are notoriously flexible, and the hatchback is sort of in between. The coupe is the stiffest, and the convertible is the weakest.
Yeah, it's a noodle.
But all of them are flexible. So you've got to put some kind of chassis stiffening in there. And, on my silver coupe, I actually ripped the upper control arm mount right off the body on a drag race in BC because I was too dumb to have reinforced the upper. So this has the upper reinforcements in it as well.
Right. Huh. Wild.
Once you
rear
wreck one of
seats
those,
out of it.
pardon?
Yeah, the rear
Go
seats
ahead,
are out of it.
Yeah, there's no rear seats in it, and it's got. I had some Corbeau Forzas in there, but they were too big. I guess I bought the fat kid seats, and they were too big for to get the roll bar around. So, in a sort of fit of desperation to get it, ready for this event, I robbed the Cobra Monaco S's out of my silver coupe for it. So that's what we're going to run in. And it's maybe a good omen. I won a lot of races from that driver's seat, and maybe it's good to be back in my office.
Yeah. Well, I just got to
There you go.
Because Matthew and I have an inside running joke about comments left on his page. And every time he mentions the word fat, I start chuckling because one of the comments is, "Fat guy's got issues within himself."
I don't know.
We get a kick out of it. It's a running joke for us.
Most of the comments
Totally.
on my channel are, questions, tech questions, or their thank yous or whatever.
When you do the rage bait videos,
it's the internet, right?
Yeah.
So you have
Yep.
these guys who, I guess, they're used to savaging 16-year-old
I don't know.
girls on with shallow egos or whatever on the internet, and they're after me. Oh, you're a fat mouth breather or whatever. I think that is my favorite. Fat guy definitely got issues within himself.
Or the dirty jean jacket. We were going to get both dirty deep jean jackets, call ourselves the dirty jean jacket boys.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, whatever. I wear a dirty jean jacket in the shop, and most of the time you're filming stuff in here because project work is mostly done in the winter. It's cooler, and I keep the shop a little cooler to save on heat, and a jean jacket protects you from burns and cuts and all of this. It's practical kind of a deal, but I don't know, maybe people don't wear jean jackets anymore, so they give me a hard
I don't know.
time.
Like I said before, we're Gen X's. Just kind of rolls
I had
off.
a- I had a
We're
phone-
pretty thick skinned.
I had a phone call here one day, and this guy phones up and he says, this is the guy with the greasy jean jacket on YouTube? I said, yes. And he says, okay, that's the guy I wanted to talk to.
That's one of our other running jokes. Yeah.
You've seen that
While we're on-
meme that goes around with the guy with the kind of greasy looking New Balance shoes and kind of greasy looking pants. It just shows his sort of from his knee down or whatever. And it says, you see this guy backing a Foxbody out of a trailer for a drag race. Maybe you should rethink your competitor
Look out.
choice. That's me.
Well,
Totally.
it depends on his persona, whether you get Corvette Mathew, or you get Foxbody Mathew.
Oh yeah. When I drive the Corvette, I have
You got the fanny pack and the
yeah, right. I had the
pull up socks, the
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, the sandals.
Yeah, right. I tell everyone about my 14 speakers and
Yeah,
how it's a Z51 or whatever.
yeah, and look, it's got a touch clothes on it.
Well, while we're on the topic of weight, but not in particular your weight, Mathew, didn't you do a little bit of a weight comparison on the Godzilla?
Yeah, when I weighed this engine right off the crate, I think I got 630. It's on my channel.
It's on the channel for sure. Yeah.
There's quite a few differences since then because like it's got the whole Holley pan front cover setup on it, and it's got the Holley manifold on it, and the cast manifolds are off, and it's got stainless tubular headers. I see various weights that are in the 500s that are quoted for these. I'm going to do a corner weight on the car, and we're going to get a full weight of the car as finished, and a weight distribution forward and back. But it's been a little bit of a panic to try and get it ready for the events, and I just didn't want to take time out to spend weighing it. And of course I'll film that for people, so that takes time. You got to set up lights and set up one thing or another to film.
And we had a bit of trade-off on some things. Like, we know the engine's heavier, but the K member, for example, was a lot lighter than factory.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you save weight with some things. It's like my old silver car. Every time you take something out thinking you're going to save some weight, you end up putting it back in a tougher part or a stronger part or something like that. You put a roll bar in the car, even though it's chromoly, which is lighter, it still weighs something that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And it looks like a big deal taking out seats, but like the rear seat cushion doesn't weigh anything.
They don't weigh much.
Now with a hatch though, your fold down seats, there's a bunch of metal brackets and stuff like that. That does weigh something. So
yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Now, when you said that about the K member, I remember you doing a short video on that, and that was a staggering difference. I mean, over half the weight of a stock K member.
Yeah, I think we've got a little video that shows the weights of probably just the K members against each other, and then the whole deal with the control arms and everything. And it's a pretty big difference. I don't know what it was, like 40 pounds difference or something like that. Yeah, it's a lot. So
a fair bit. Yeah.
So yeah, I took off the vibration damper off of the rear end housing, and I don't know what that weighs.
That's a good chunk of metal.
7 pounds or something like that. The 88 cars are a little bit lighter than the later ones anyway. I mean, for instance, they don't have daytime running light module, and the daytime running light module is up in the front corner of the car, driver's corner there, I think, and weighs 1.5 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, it all adds up, man. So
listen, I've been at a garage with a couple brothers, and they're telling me how they salvaged lug nuts off of Explorers in the junkyard.
Who are you talking
because because they weighed less. I'm standing in this shop looking at this Mustang, and the one guy is like, "Got a handful, you could tell the difference."
I know who that is.
And I'm like, and I said, "Did you guys take the daytime running light module out?" Nope. Like, that weighs more than the difference in all these. Anyway, you can go crazy about weight. My doctor said I was too fat to live, so I've lost like 40 pounds. So that probably helps too.
Yeah, fat guy's got less issues within himself.
Right. Usually when an organism loses a bunch of weight, it means they're dying. So I don't know. Hopefully not.
Yeah, no, I think you're good, yeah.
Right.
Hopefully.
How does that 8 HP weight-wise weigh up against other common transmission options?
I guess that's something we didn't touch on. It's probably It's lighter than I think a
Well,
4L80.
okay, I don't know about 4L80, but it's slightly lighter than a DCT.
Yeah,
It's way heavier than a T5.
yeah.
I think we're looking at around 150 pounds or so
But
for that
the
transmission.
thing that goes with that is it's got extremely low frictional losses too. That's kind of a big thing with this transmission is you don't get a lot of frictional loss in the transmission like you do with a 4L80 or something like that.
Yeah, it's actually really efficient transmission. So, but yeah, weight wise, I'd say it's in the same neighborhood as the 4-speed Lenco that I have, the ST1200. That weighs something like this, 140 or 150 pounds. It's been a while. I don't remember off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but it's in that kind of weight class. But almost any automatic you're going to put in
Yeah.
weighs that kind of
It weighs.
weighs like that. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a way heavier. It's not some lightweight
No.
like a, Liberty Equalizer or something like that. But
That's where you get the trade-off. Like it's still a very strong transmission, but you're going to have some weight associated with that strength, right?
yeah.
But like I said, what the amazing part is it's probably just as strong as a 4L80, but it's got like the less rotational losses than like a 4L60. Like it's pretty impressive in that regard.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of power wasted in a converter because it locks the converter almost right away.
That's a big one right there. Is like the converter will
Okay.
lock up almost instantly on that thing.
Right. So you're more or less direct through. And it's fine to say, oh, it's a joke having a clutch pedal and this thing doesn't have clutches, but it does. It's got like, I don't know, 8 or 10 sets of
There's
clutches
a lot in
there.
that converter. That if anything, that's probably the weak link on these transmissions or the converters. Like especially on the heavier Dodge trucks and stuff, you'll get a torque converter chatter because it does end up warping some of those plates in the converter sometimes. And so but I don't think that'll be an issue in this thing. So
Yeah.
so lightweight.
I mean,
Lighter car. Yeah.
the car is going to weigh 3,400 with me or 3,500 with me or something like that. It'll be in there somewhere. And that's, I mean, full street car with power windows and power locks and windshield wipers and windshield washers and a horn and, all metal body parts on it, metal hood, metal hatch, crash beams in the doors, carpet, headliner, all of this stuff's in the car, right? And we're even going to have a radio. So, that's way lighter than most of the applications that are using 8 HP70.
Yeah, that goes on some pretty heavy stuff. Like, I mean, the Lamborghinis, the Jags, the BMWs, the Chryslers, I think even Range Rover or something like that. One of the Land Rovers or something might use it. Like,
I'd say most of the other cars that are using this are
pretty
in the
exotic.
range of
Even
1,000 pounds heavier.
even
than
an
this.
Aston Martin uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the street knowledge on it as far as like power handling capabilities? What do people claim that these things are good for in unbuilt
factory
format?
rates
Just off the
them
shelf?
for around, I think, 450, 500 foot-pounds of torque for stock on the 70. But people have run a lot more through them than that.
Yeah, I think there's lots of guys running 700-800 horsepower cars with stock 8 HP70s without failing.
We better hope so, anyways.
Yeah, we better hope so, I guess.
Right.
There are rumors of guys running 1,000 horsepower through these things and not having to do much to them. And guys that do build them can run 1,000 horsepower through them, type thing, if you build them a little bit. But there's guys claiming they've run 1,000 through them stock, pretty much. So
they're a very strong transmission. Yeah. So I would say stock, this transmission is up there with a lot of built
which
traditional
is
automatics,
one of the
like
huge
4 speeds or 6-speed automatics.
Which one of the huge advantages of that transmission is I can go to the junkyard, pick up a replacement fairly inexpensive. Once you've got all the other adaptive stuff on the car, and just swap it out if you have a problem, right? And away you go again. And the transmission itself isn't that expensive especially for what you're getting.
Yeah, pick out another transmission that can take that kind of power that you paid $1,400 for.
Good point.
And I don't know what it costs by the time it's in there. All the Domi Works stuff was a couple $1,000, and
I'd say $7,000 to $8,000 type thing, Canadian, probably.
Well,
depending
okay,
on
but
your application.
I mean, exclude the engine management. So you
Yeah.
get $1,400 for a transmission. You got, say, a couple $1,000 for the adapters at the front. You
Yeah.
know, there's $1,000 in like drive shaft stuff.
Yeah.
We have a custom drive shaft. Driveline Specialties here in Calgary did it for me. It's 1350 U joints and all that, and it uses Domi Works tail shaft adapter for 1350 U joints. That part fit anyway.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I mean, what am I up to there? Like $4,500 or something
And
like
then
that.
throw on the controller on top, because I was including that in the
Yeah. So
estimates.
then you got a controller, but that controller also controls the engine,
Yeah.
and it costs the same. Like Max ECU costs the same as if you bought Terminator X Max, or it costs the same as somebody else's just transmission controller. So,
Right.
I mean, I think you can say the controller in this application for transmission wise cost zero, because you had to spend that kind of money on the engine
On the
management
engine
anyway.
management,
So
yeah. So it really looks
Right.
out. If you're just doing the transmission, you got to factor that in. If you're doing a complete build like this, then you don't necessarily have to factor that into the cost of the transmission. But
you got a little,
what you're getting for the money is amazing.
you got a cross member, and you got I mean, this has got a blanket, like the Stroud blankets. I don't know, something like that.
The biggest trick to this transmission, not the biggest trick, but one of the tricks is the neutral, the neutral lock on it, or the parking lock on it, because it is electronically controlled. It has a
Yeah.
manual release for the park.
Yeah, it's BMW's idea to handle a manual release of the park pawl in the transmission is they have a Allen screw on a boss, which you got to get underneath the car with a tool and screw up to release it. And there are some kits out there to make a park release. For it, which the kits cost $300-400, and you end up having to cut a bunch of stuff and drill and tap a bunch of stuff. So I built a emergency park release out of a
Eye bolt.
well,
basically, yeah.
an eye bolt and an excavator cable, like cable throttle
It works.
assembly, which I paid $25 on Amazon for or something. And so we got a little handle in, which is bolted up to our tunnel, and you can push a button, and it's got pawls on it, and you can pull that down, and that'll pull up on the park release, and it'll put it in emergency unlock. When we first put it in, as I was loading on the trailer to take it to unobtainium, the park lockout failed in the unlocked position, so I didn't have no parking pawl. So we're not sure just how durable this is, but I had it all apart, reworked it. I put a longer eye bolt in, so I have more travel on the cable, and I have used it a time or two here in the shop, and it works fine. What I told Brent is,
Emergency use only.
on the Miles of Mayhem, we're not going to mess with this unless we have to, because it could be fragile. Or we could have just had a teething problem with my initial setup. Frankly, I don't believe that my idea for how to work this is any less durable than any of these other systems that are out there, and it's less work. So,
it's not
and
really
way less money.
It's not really much different from what Dodge does. Like they have a cable release that you just pull. That's actually how a lot of people steal these vehicles, is they know where that release is, and they pop the cable, put it in neutral, push it away. So
Right.
that's very common on these, and so it works well, but
I think I have $35 in my park release system, and the transmission is still in a state where if I had to put one of these other ones on, it could still be modified to do that. We didn't wreck anything to do this.
No,
So
but
Well, and
yeah,
if
like
I'm
I
not,
said, go ahead, Gary.
I was gonna say, if I'm not mistaken, I've never owned a BMW, but I've been in a few, some of which have been in newer format. And I want to say they do something weird when you actually park the car. Like it almost engages the emergency brake, the electronically controlled emergency brake before it goes into park. It turns itself into an electronic car where it just sits there and goes into like idle mode when you go to park it.
Well, it
So I
very
can't
well
help but
might.
think that this maybe, yeah,
Just because there's a big lawsuit due to Anton Yelchin, I think was his name, one of the actors that was on the newer Star Trek movies, and the Jeep. They had a recall because that thing didn't park right. It could roll back, and that's what happened to him. The Jeep rolled back and pinned him between his brick mailbox, and that's what took him out. So that's
shit.
one of the reasons why they had to put this whole system in that vehicle, is so that you don't get stuff like that happening.
it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I don't really drive BMW, but it wouldn't surprise me if what you're saying is right. If they apply an electronic a parking brake and then engage the park pawl. As far as the transmission itself is concerned, if you select park, it engages the park pawl, or if you shut the engine off, it engages the park pawl. So if you want to disengage it, you have to have a manual control, and we have that via a cable assembly that lifts up on a little paddle, which is outside the car, which in the actual BMW, if you needed to manually unlock it, you had to get underneath the car and use like a Allen key to turn an Allen bolt up to raise that little paddle, where in this case we just pull on it with an eye bolt and a cable.
It's just a little lever. I know you can't really see that, but it's just kind of a little lever like that, and when you pivot it like that, it unlocks. So we just put a thing there that just lifts.
Yeah, and it rotates a shaft, which activates the parking pawl inside the transmission.
Yeah, it's mechanical.
Right. Yeah, it's the only thing mechanical about it. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you something, this car is the easiest thing in the world to get the shifter out of, because the shifter is bolted into a 3D printed adapter that I made, which is bolted to the factory Foxbody shifter location. And if you want to take the shifter out, you take out four bolts and disconnect a wiring harness, which is a quick connect, and that's it. It's out of the way. So when you go to put your console in or whatever, it's easy to get that shifter out of the way.
We even have cup holders. That's important.
Yeah, right. I have a cup. That's the most important thing. I have a cup holder console.
Yeah, he got very excited when he told me, "Look, I got cup holders."
I thought we're probably going to need coffee or Coca-Cola on this trip.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just stay away from those energy drinks. Those are nasty.
Yeah, that's an interesting piece of machinery there. Yeah, I'm sure all BMW owners know that too. If their battery dies or they got to push their car out of the way, just crawl underneath it with an Allen key and spin your park.
I can see a lot of BMW owners doing that.
I mean, I'm guessing that it's highly inaccessible. Like it seems like a joke,
you know what? I think Dodge has a better solution, except it makes it easier for thefts. So there's a trade-off here someplace, I guess. But
I wouldn't be surprised with the BMW if you first had to get out your jack and jack the thing up so you could get 100%. Enough clearance to get to the thing
I don't
with
see.
an Allen key.
I don't see how you could get to it otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, you're gonna need some real long arms.
Yeah, so it seems a little silly, honestly, to have it like that. But I mean, what's the tow truck driver going to do? I guess he lifts up the front end and then.
I hope my system's reliable. If it is, I mean, and when it works fine, and you got the thing completely unlocked, and you can, push it through the staging lanes or whatever. But I think for Miles of Mayhem, just because it's possible we will need this unlock at some point if we break, I just don't want to be using it and then using it up, and it turns out, it's only good for 10 cycles because my design isn't very good. I've never seen anybody else do it this way. They all buy a $300 kit, but the kit isn't any different really. It has a a little lever that it pulls on with a cable. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Except
Well, and
for
that's realistically the
10
only thing I
times the
can
money.
think of that you guys would need this for is to, like you say, roll this thing out of the way if something catastrophic happens. And
Well, the only other practical
realistically, the chances of that happen are slim.
Yeah, the only other practical application for it is like Matthew said, if you're in the staging lanes and you're in a long queue, you don't want to keep the car running and getting hot, and you just want to be able to roll it.
Yeah,
Then that's where it would come in handy for sure.
that's a pretty traditional drag racing stunt where you push the car through the staging lanes to keep it cool. So when you go to make your run, you're at best power.
And yeah, this thing makes a lot of heat.
Yeah, it's hot under the hood.
Does
It
it?
really is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, it's hot. It's like turbo car hot under the hood. So I don't know. Maybe I need a better hood that's got some heat extraction. The cast Holley manifold isn't the greatest from a heat standpoint. And we got a big radiator and a big fan and all that. But yeah, it's hot under the hood. It really is. So
Yeah, we even had some fuel boiling issues, I think.
yeah,
Possibly.
I don't know. There's something a little fishy about our fuel system. Even with the tank full, it seems like we may be getting the fuel hot. I had an incident where I had a pressure drop out on the dyno, but I had the car really hot, and I got a bigger fuel pump coming, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily the solution. And something I did this morning, Brent, I put a brake vacuum bleeder on the vent line to check whether the vent line was plugged or the vent on top of the tank was plugged, but didn't hold any vacuum. So that line's clear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So that is one thing we got to keep an eye on. But other than that, I think it's pretty dialed.
Yeah.
What is it like to run at for temperatures?
Well, the engine runs around 190, 192 coolant temp, and in the low 200s, maybe like 204 cylinder head temp most of the time. And the radiator's big enough and the fan is big enough that it is controlling all that. It's working fine. But the underhood temperatures are pretty hot. And if you if you're driving the car, we have a custom cold air setup where it draws cold air through a filter in the passenger fender. I mean, it's a very traditional Mustang setup. It's adapted from a Mustang cold air setup from Western Motorsports big tube cold air setup, which I think they're probably the only guys left who make a truly big tube cold air setup for Fox bodies. But anyway, it's adapted from that. But it runs right across the front of the car and to the fender, because the throttle is in the center of the car at the front. And
Right.
it's a metal tube, right? So and the air charge temperature sensor is in that tube. So if you're driving down the highway, you're getting about ambient going into the engine on that temperature sensor. But if you sit and idle, you can watch it climb, and it's a 75-degree day, and suddenly your inlet air temperature sensor is 125 or 130. So
Wow.
it's hot under there, all right. And if you drive it for half an hour and then you get out and open the hood, you don't really want to hold your hand on the upper intake. You can hold your hand on the fuel rails. It has the Holley fuel rail kit, which is a billet fuel rail. But
even like the front tie bar assembly, it's hot, like you're just in front of the rad there, and
yeah, in fact, you can feel the fenders hot.
The fenders
like just
hot,
touching the fenders is hot. So I don't know. I'm guessing, like, we have enough fan and radiator. It's not like the engine is running too hot, but the heat is getting trapped in the engine compartment.
Those headers are putting out cranking it. You might have to wrap them. I don't know yet, but
Yeah, I don't know. They're
Right.
not ceramic coated.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe, geez, I don't really want to
Kicking a lot of heat out there.
take it
Yeah.
all apart to do that.
no, we
do
don't want to
you?
do that.
But,
No.
sometimes you can run a hood that's got a heat extractor, like the Terminator hoods, for instance. They have functional heat extractors on the front, and they really do work. The downside on them is when it rains, water gets in there, so those cars always get wet inside. And like all these Terminators have bad hood blankets, because even if you didn't modify them, when it rains, water gets in through those air extractors. I mean, they have, from the factory, they have plastic shields on them, but they're still open, right? So water gets in there and it stains the hood blanket. So this car,
Yeah.
I think we got enough clearance. I could put a hood blanket on it,
Possibly,
but
but that would be even more heat.
yeah,
I
right.
think.
It'd be even worse. So I don't know. It's this is something that we've only been driving the car for 10 days or something like that. Realistically, outside of a few little odds and ends drives. So it's kind of
Maybe
come up,
teething related then.
and we got to somehow get through this event as is, because this problem isn't going to get changed very much beforehand, I don't think.
That's one of the things we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on for
I
sure.
don't really want to whole saw this hood or something crazy like that. So
No, I mean,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, we got to take the hood off, and we can do that, right?
yeah, we got these
There you go.
t-shirts made. We got these t-shirts made up. They say bad decision 7.3 Godzilla, and they have Tecmotion on the back.
No
but
hood.
it shows a picture of the car with no hood. So
Yeah, we even played.
Maybe you
with
guys are
the
setting
idea.
yourself up for a hood pull.
Yeah, we even played with the idea of leaving the 5.0 badges on it and putting a plus 2.3, just to homage to both Mustangs.
my channel has an
Yeah,
AI
that's weird.
influencer who we call Shelby, and we get Google VO to add to a few little scenes as sort of cut scenes or whatever. She gets mad because we're using Holly's intake or whatever. Who's Holly?
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a running joke, yeah.
one of the things that software has a very hard time with is cars that don't have a hood. So
Yeah.
we got her standing beside this car with no hood, complaining about Holly's intake manifold, and it's a bear to get the thing to just not insert a hood.
Yeah.
You're like putting in the prompt, this car is under construction and does not have a hood.
Yeah.
Listen to
Anyway.
me, damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever.
So here's one for you. I want to present this, no pun intended, but the $1 million question. Transmission out of the equation for all the folks out there that are thinking about putting a Godzilla in a Foxbody. You can round if you want to, up or down. How deep into this are you, money-wise?
Well, I have a professional shop, and I have courtesy discounts or wholesale pricing from a lot of guys. And I do the work myself. So, you're not paying for labor, and some of the work involved here, is going to be beyond certain hobbyists. The hobbyists are on a spectrum, right? Like there's guys who probably shouldn't be changing their spark plugs. And then, there's guys who
You put
who
your hand
can
up at the
do-
wrong time there, Brent.
Yeah. It'll line up on the video later.
there's guys who can do absolutely everything. And so, it's more common to have things that can't be done on this. But money wise, probably
Leave the roll cage out, the exhaust out.
leave out the custom exhaust, and leave the transmission out. I don't know, 25,000 Canadian dollars, something like that, maybe. I think I paid
Including motor?
like $8,200 for the engine. But here's the thing: every time you turn around, it's another $2,000. Headers, $2,000. Headers don't fit. $3,000.
Yeah.
controller, $2,000.
Yeah, engine
$3,000.
management, $2,500. Intake manifold, $1,400. Front cover and pan kit, I don't know what that was, two something, $2,400.
We're leaving the cam out on this, right?
Yeah, cam, I don't know what that was, $800.
Yeah, but we can leave that one out if you don't want to put the cam in. You don't have to, but
yeah, but that was the sort of least of our
there's at
problems,
least, yeah.
expense wise. And then, let's say you put a T56 in. I would say that kind of swap in Canadian dollars these days
You might as well put the
is 10, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to have a bell housing, and you got to have a flywheel, and you got to have a clutch, a good clutch, and you got to have the transmission. And the transmission is like $5,000-$6,000 now, and a bell housing is like $1,000 or $1,200. And say a McLeod RXT clutch, the clutch and flywheel assembly, all that's like $2,500, $2,000, something like that for a good clutch. And then you need a way to control the clutch, right? So you need quadrant, cable, fork, or you need a hydraulic pedal conversion, and then you need a hydraulic slave cylinder. And any way you slice it, that kind of a sort of round figure in Canadian dollars on the T56 swap is 10.
Yeah, it's going to be more than the actual 8 HP.
You need a K-member. You need drive shaft. I mean, it all adds up. So
it adds up. Well, actually, one of the funny ways I got involved in the project is I've known Mathew for a long time, but we've never really worked together too much stuff. He knows what my background is and everything, but I come in and I see the 8 HP sitting on the floor. I'm like, and I've been researching these things. I'm like, my eyes get really big. I'm like, is that an 8 HP? And he's like, the look on his face, the disappointment on his face that I figured out what that transmission was. He's like, oh shit, he knows. Might as well let him help.
While we were doing this, it was such a closely held secret that no one was allowed to say 8 HP. And when people asked me what transmission was going in the car, I variously told them
We don't
T56, TKX, 6R80, just to throw them off the scent.
Or the ever famous transmission. We don't talk about the transmission.
When we put the hydraulic clutch conversion in, I did a video on the hydraulic clutch pedal conversion, but we didn't show the other side of it because the other side of it is a clutch simulator.
Right.
It's all filmed. Now that the secret is coming out and, you have to show your cards, you have to show up and race. So now the secret's out, then everything's been filmed right from the get-go. Brent and I actually sat down and filmed before we start on this project with the 8 HP video. And it'll be interesting to look back, hopefully by Friday night to see where we're really getting to with it, if it's working the way we hoped.
Given what happened on the little test drives that we've done, it's like, I think it'll work well.
I almost put it on the roof, Mustang Days style, on the street out here because I hit a gravel patch testing it. It's an animal. It's an animal.
Yeah, it's a monster. It is a beast.
The engine is pretty powerful too.
Well, just the torque. Like, you got these high horsepower cars, and that's one thing, but something with that much torque too. Holy crow. That is a whole different ballgame.
When I started the project engine-wise, I thought, the Godzilla is going to be in the same neighborhood as a nicely built 351W, like a nice 408. And I've tuned a lot of those. I've run lots of that kind of stuff. And it's enough better than that it's there is a real divergence there. And the thing is, this is basically a stock engine with a cam, where the kind of thing we're talking about with a 408 stroker, you have a lot of stuff done to it, and the harder you work an engine, the less overall reliable it is.
Yeah.
So, when you got a stock engine with a cam, it's a realistic expectation that it would drive a long way and that it won't be that problematic. Where when you got a pretty wild built, say 408 stroker, or something like my 399 or whatever that's de-stroked and big bore and all that. Yeah, the life expectancy of something like that is quite a bit less than something like this Godzilla.
And
So
there's the other huge advantage to that transmission is that you think most of these older cars with the 3 or 4-speed transmissions, these things are revving 3,500 between 2,500 3,500 RPM cruising down the highway. Like Matthew said earlier in the video, this thing's revving like 1,800 RPM. It's just barely off idle, just cruising at 70 miles an hour. Like, you just think that the physics alone, the piston's not traveling up and down in the engine as much. There's that much more life you're going to get out of something. Like, the number one upgrade you can do to any old vehicle is, in my opinion, a transmission, modern transmission.
we don't really want to disclose our power number on this Godzilla, and I think people can look around and see disclosed numbers like from Brian Wolf and so on. But I will say that I had a number in mind for the combo, and we're enough better than that I feel like we got a legit upside. So it looks very encouraging power wise, and if this transmission will harness the power the way we think. I mean, I feel like this car has a chance at a 1025 run on its best day. It is not going to have its best day at Miles of Mayhem because we are nowhere near wrung out enough for that. But I think it could be heading for that on its best day, only in a package that it's no joke. You could drive to work. I could, get in this car and drive to Las Vegas tonight.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty impressive
wild.
machine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're not going to do that with the kind of like 408 stroker setup I'm talking about. Oh, and money wise, yeah, okay. So it starts to cost a bunch of money to build up the Godzilla, and when I'm talking $25,000, I'm talking about the whole schmear, everything you need to make it work for the project. But do it with a 408 stroker that's anywhere close to power. I think costs more.
Yeah, probably.
Today.
And remember, that's Canadian
Properly
dollars,
built,
which is like a couple cases of beer and a bag of chips down in the States.
Yeah, right.
So.
There is a pretty big difference there. That's true.
It's just tip money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they charge what? They demand like 80% tip down there now.
Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, for listeners, I think right now that money's about 0.7. So 70 cents Americans, $1 Canadian.
No, I think it's about closer to 0.6. Like, it's pretty bad right now.
No, it's about 0.7.
1.43 is what I exchanged it at recently.
Yeah, with credit card fees and stuff.
Yeah, with just the bank. Yeah, when I put my Canadian money and transfer it to American money, I'm like,
okay. Well, it's easy enough to look up
their hit.
add to US or whatever.
They definitely take their hit for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess in a final thoughts format, do you think there's some validity to this Godzilla swap in a Fox? Would you do it again?
I'm so close to it because I've been working, till 10, 11 every night. I got this shop more or less closed so I could finish this project. I buried my oldest friend about 2 months ago, and he was only 58. And normally I would kick a project like this that wasn't done in the corner and wait for next winter and finish it next year. But I thought, what if there isn't a next year? So I got sort of everything thrown behind this project this year. So you're pretty close to it, and it's been a lot of frustration, and every part didn't fit. Even the seats I had ended up not fitting. Even the lug nuts, for crying out loud. I had to go 2 different places to get lug nuts that were going to work after we put the
You didn't get the Explorer ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got to have open nuts, and some of these wheels that are on it have deep wells. Anyway, it's a whole. Sounds ridiculous, but it is, every nut and bolt's been a fight. So I'm pretty close to it, and I question my sanity. However, I have driven the car a few hundred miles on the road, and I feel like, yeah, this is a car I could cruise with. This is a car that, I think you can probably see my Lincoln in behind me here. That's my nostalgia cruiser, and it's a heads cam intake, long tubes, torque converter, valve body, 410s, all that Fox chassis, but in a Lincoln Mark 7. I could see this car behind me replacing that as a nostalgia cruiser. I could see that happening. And I've worked on the tune-up, and each time I've worked on it, I've made the car easier to handle, like under light throttle, parking lot, backing it onto a hoist, those kind of conditions. So, is it a good project? Yeah. Is the car working good?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a suspicion that this car is going to be, I have a suspicion it's going to be really good. I mean, we're going to show up at Miles of Mayhem, and there's a few guys there who know me, but I haven't been drag racing for years. And I'd say the guys who know me are going to say, Jesus Christ, Mathew, I thought you were dead. And the guys who don't know me will be like, where'd this hillbilly come from with this, peeling clear coat, stock hood, Fox body, and show me the taillights.
And I will say, right, I'll say this right now, like, thank you, Mathew. I'm very honored to have been included in this project. But I do also want to point out, as we discussed throughout this episode, this wasn't just the engine. It wasn't just the transmission. Every component on this car was upgraded to handle and be survivable, right to the torque box reinforcements and everything else. So if you're going to do something like this, you gotta remember that thing cranks out a ton of torque, which will twist up a stock Fox body in a hurry.
Yeah.
So you got to really kind of plan something like this out. But after riding in this car, oh, heck yeah, I think this is worth doing.
It's fine to talk about money. And, I think
If
sometimes
you can.
guys maybe think, oh, this is a big buck project. And I can't relate to it because I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend on a project like this. That's fair enough. I would say that when I build these projects, I build them with a budget, and I try to make them cost a reasonable amount. But the truth is, when you're on a project like this,
You're going to have overruns.
you have to have a budget and a plan, and then you have to have deep enough pockets to just see it through. And even at the end here, I'm like, oh geez, I got to buy another air compressor because my little portable air compressor is no good. And I blew up I don't know, the heat maybe blew up this alternator I had. I hope we don't have alternator problems, but I had to go buy another alternator the other night. And then it came with a little bit smaller pulley, and I had to go buy a different belt. And you just can't, you can't be in a position where you're at the limit of your financial ability. This is not a project for somebody who has no money. On the other hand, the kind of car that we got at the end of it for the money expended,
Amazing.
I think is pretty awesome. Like I said to my wife, we watched a reveal of a project car from another shop here that was posted on YouTube, and it's a great shop, and I sometimes do a little bit of work for them, and they're friends and all this. But I watched the look on the guy's face when this car was being revealed, and Chris McQuaid from Unobtainium saw it too, and we were both talking about it because we saw the same thing. The look on his face when they threw open the doors and pulled this car out to reveal it to him was, I sure hope that my $300,000 or $400,000 spent was worth it.
Yeah.
Because like hiring somebody to do all this, you can easily turn it into that kind of money. So, this is a car that I don't know what I have in it, all told 40, something like that. And it's hard to know for sure because I took some stuff off and sold it. And I earned a tiny bit of money out of YouTube videos on it. And I have some plastic parts that were developed for this car. Like I have a plastic gas pedal adapter for electronic gas pedal. And I have plastic adapter for the BMW shifter to go in a Fox for anybody who wants to try this again. Those kind of things might pay some dividends down
Down the road, yeah.
down the road. But let's say I spent 40 on it, Canadian. To get a car like this, off the showroom floor, I think you're more like 180.
Yeah, well, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, this thing's definitely up there with the Hellcat and Demon performance, right? It's it's a quick car.
And I mean, we had it at the Reynolds Museum show, and yeah, we were latecomers, and they put us in the back corner by the porta potties and all this stuff. But the car garnered quite a bit of interest there, even though it's not a showy car, right? Like this isn't a beautiful car. It doesn't actually, I mean, whatever, I'm hard on it, but it takes a good picture. If you're 30 feet away, you can get a
Well,
picture that makes it look like a pretty nice car, but it's not a super nice car up close.
This is where I laugh at you, Matthew, because like I said, our definitions vary wildly on nice cars. And to me, this is a nice car. Is it a show car? No, but it's a nice car.
Yeah, it's got faded paint
You
and
know,
clear coat peeling and
but
rusty fender drop-offs.
I've
and-
seen way worse,
Yeah.
way worse. And I own way worse, and I commute to work in way worse cars.
Yeah.
Perception is key in all this, though, right? I mean, everybody has a different perception on good, bad, rough, ugly, whatever. And it's in the eye of the beholder, really, right?
It
I know, because
absolutely
to your
is.
point, Matthew, like those rusty rear quarters, you go like, well, this kind of throws it down a few pegs for me, and this is now considered a rougher car that needs body work,
Mhm.
And to like, this is one thing I've always said about Matthew is his expectations are up here and his work is up here with them, right? Like you are going to get top quality work out of and craftsmanship out of Matthew. Like he doesn't put up with subpar. And, me on the other hand, sometimes I do because I don't have a choice like a lot of people. But if it works, it may not look pretty, but if it works and it's safe, I'm going to do it. And you got those different build qualities, but at the same time, you have to be able to adjust. You have to know what type of project you're working on, and that is key. And like Matthew said, it doesn't matter. You always kind of have to know your budget, and you have to expect a 15 to 20% more than what you think it's going to cost. It doesn't matter if you're doing a junkyard swap or if you're doing something like this or if you're doing a high-end build. You have to plan for that. Otherwise, you're gonna fail.
The car
it's all
hobby doesn't
relative,
have to
too.
break you. You can have fun with a car that doesn't cost much money. If, as far as this project's concerned, if your objective is to build a competitive drag and drive car, I feel like so far everything is working out the way I envisioned it, and maybe a little bit better than I envisioned it. And of course, my plan on this was, if it ain't fast enough, I'll put a Whipple on it. Because you can put a Whipple on a Godzilla for another $8,500 or something. And frankly, you don't need anything else. Maybe we would pull the 8 HP and strengthen it a little bit, but you don't really need anything else.
Yeah.
So is it a fit for purpose project? Yeah. And we're going to have our heads held high because we're going to show up with Ford power in a Ford. So
And back to the projects, like, I mean, for me, for example, I have that 88 Trans Am that I was building, and I bought that car for $3,000, and it had a 6-liter LQ4 in it already, and it had a 4L80 transmission built, a new torque converter, painless wiring kit came with it, LS1 intake, all sorts of goodies that came with it. And, you add it all up. You look at the thing, and yeah, it's in pieces, but it's probably $8,000 to $10,000 worth of stuff there, and you're like, sweet. But at the same time, I'm out there and I'm like, I need a torque arm. So I say, hey, I got that old porch swing out there. I'm going to cut that up and turn it into a torque arm. Sometimes you got to get creative. I've gone to the dump, literally gone to the dump and got parts, metal out of there so I could fabricate something. You got to get creative sometimes. and do what you got to do. Matthew, with the transmission mount, he had to cut up a perfectly good part and modify
I
it.
bought a brand new part, and the first thing it is cut it up.
Yeah. You have to expect these things.
Yeah, right. Well,
It's all relative for sure, right?
I would
Completely is.
say, like, cars like that, you got that project because somebody else couldn't put it together.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you, like, if you're gonna do it on the cheap, you got to have skills. This car, there's a whole video on my channel about what it ended up costing me to build this car as a stalker. And when I was done building as a stalker, I had a pretty serviceable little stock 5-liter, and I think my cash layout for that was about 2,100 Canadian
It
dollars.
was a nice car for that money.
Yeah,
Really nice car.
So
Parts.
I mean, I think that
no
video
labor,
on
right?
my
All
channel is called
parts?
the cheapest Foxbody or whatever. But the stuff that I got as part of the project and the stuff that I sold off of the car versus the stuff I bought, I think I was around $2,100 or something, and I had a perfectly serviceable little Fox hatchback. So if you have the skills, you can take over a project that somebody else
Absolutely
can't do and turn it into a car.
And just keep,
but if you don't have the skills, you're in the same spot the guy who gave up on it
absolutely
is. So
and you just got to keep moving forward. Just keep going. And if you got some buddies, it's once in a while, they don't even have to be there all the time. Just once in a while, they come give you a kick in the butt, and get you back on track. That helps a lot too. It can be an enormous difference between a project hanging up and a project moving along. And because sometimes you just have that crap day, you lose motivation, you're just done with it. And other times, the other person comes in, they're still excited about it, and they get you pumped up, and away you go again.
Well, it helps to be working with a a group of guys who have good skills and who together can build a car like this. Like I was talking about when it comes to the welding and chassis fabrication. Yeah, I can weld. I'm not a terrible welder, but if you're looking the wrong way down a racetrack, the last thing you want to be thinking is, maybe I should have hired someone better to weld this roll cage in. So, I have a guy like Chris, who's a personal friend. He's a absolutely world-class guy. And I don't mess around trying to pretend to weld the roll bar in. I take it to him and get him to do it because I know it's going to be right. And you can't do everything yourself. So it's, even if you're very handy, which I feel like I am, you got to know where you should ask for help. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help, but sometimes you got to know where to ask.
Yeah. And I come in with a fresh set of jokes, and I can order coffee like a hot dang. Like, I'm a good help.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice, because I always enjoy like the psychological side of these conversations, because like you were saying, Brent, everybody comes at this from a little bit of a different financial background. I think it's all relative though, because even the guy that's coming in and doing a lot of their own homemade stuff, whether it's from the junkyard, the dump, whatever, you're still going to hit those same breaking points that the guy that
Absolutely.
money might not be as much of an object with. And we've all been there at the tail end of a timeline or whatever. And you're going, fuck, like AutoZone says I can get this thing overnight, but they only say they got one. Maybe I should order one from O'Reilly's or Napa too, just to have a backup. Like, we all go through that bullshit at the end of
Every one
things.
of us,
And
yeah, absolutely. You just got to be able to push through it somehow. And if you can,
Yeah.
you just keep on moving with it. Like that car I was talking about, I still only have $3,000 in that car. I've come to the point now where I'm going to have to get a few more things. Like, I found out the swap bracket kit on the front of it uses like a Corvette alternator. I went to put the truck. I got a bunch of truck ones kicking around, but no, they have a 5.75 bolt spacing, and the Corvette uses a 6-inch spacing. So I'm like, ah, crap, that's $200. Well, better start saving my pennies,
The kit car world, I think, is a classic example of underestimating what it takes to put together a car. All these guys build kit cars. They go and they look at what the kit costs, and they look what an engine, transmission, rear end costs, and that's what they add up, right? And then they start working on it, and they find out building a car is actually kind of a hard job, even if there's a semi step-by-step
Yeah,
manual.
no
And
doubt.
and on
Yeah.
top of that, there's 100 things that you don't think about that cost money, and that's why there's so many partially finished kits that are out there for sale,
Well,
because guys just bit off more than they could chew. And like, okay, this car that I have, this 33 Ford, it's a Coyote car, T56 Magnum XL, McLeod Street Twin. It's sanctioning legal for SCCA Solo 1, Solo 2, ASN Time Attack, and NHRA, IHRA to 10-0. It started life as a factory 533 hot rod, and then it's um, only about 20% factory 5 as it's presented, I guess. But this car, during its fit out phase, so this is where you're putting in all the, brake lines and fuel lines, plumbing, all this kind of wiring and stuff in the car. Um, it consumed, on average, $200 a day, every day, 7 days a week for 6 or 8 weeks. So you're talking like a $10,000 bill there. And if I stand here and look at the car, and I'm looking at it right now, it's just over here. I can't point to where $1 of that money is. Like, it's not like point at the engine and say, I spent this much on the engine. That money's in there. It's in there, I promise you. But I can't point to it. There's nothing I can really point to. And some of it, I suppose, is in boxes or something here, because you need some kind of grommet solution. So you go to like Greg Distributors and you buy every big grommet they sell, and one of them works, and 6 of them end up in your permanent inventory. But that money's been spent, and it was spent on the project, and they're probably never going to be used. So you got to
Well
have
said.
enough to see it through to the end.
and let's back right up to the beginning for a second, because one thing that a lot of people don't consider is the logistics and the legality of some of these builds. Like, you need to do your research and know what you can and can't get away with. Like, for example, with Project Bad Decision in Alberta, if you build it stock, it'll pass an inspection, no problem. As soon as you modify one thing, you're going to get into a bit of a tangle up. So what you want to do is do exactly what Mathew did. You build it stock, then you get it all legal again, and then you can start modifying it, no problem, and not run into issues. With his kit car, for example, it's very different than how it is in the States. In Canada, you're only allowed to have a certain percentage of it come from a kit, certain percentage has to be from a donor car, certain percentage has to be from, you can't all come from the same place. And
Yeah.
you have to know all this stuff before you start your project, or you could get yourself tangled up really bad in some of this stuff.
You have to have the guys who are going to help you with these projects at the end lined up at the front of the project. I mean, that means like your dyno guy. You need to be interfacing with whoever you're going to get to tune the car up front, so that you can make the right decisions on putting an engine management system that they can work with
Yeah.
in there. And your tuner is going to help you to make choices, because they're going to be thinking about things, the way certain of these systems interact, that you might not be thinking of up front. And with a car that needs a special registration, you need to have whoever's going to inspect it for you lined up before you turn a wheel. And then this doesn't mean that you have to have some wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of inspection, but you need to be working with the guys who are going
Absolutely.
to get it through, so that when you show up at the end, you show up with a vehicle that they can certify.
Well, and
Right?
that could be, they might want pictures along the way of stuff they're not going to be able to see afterwards, or they might want to look at that stuff along the way. And it goes the same, like you get a salvage vehicle that you want to rebuild or something like that. Same thing. Talk to the guy or the person that you're going to be taking that vehicle to, see what they want to see and what they want to certify this thing when you're done. And because otherwise you could get this whole thing done. And this goes right back to checking the registration, make sure the thing's not stolen or something like that, right?
Yeah, right.
Like
You go spend 1,500 hours on a project to go to register it, and the VIN comes up stolen.
Yeah.
And they take
Yeah.
it. And you're like,
Yeah.
where'd my 1,500 hours
You're
go?
out. That's gone. You don't get it back.
People wonder why guys get mad at car shows if they're, someone's screwing with their car or whatever. But like, okay, take this street rod. I don't know what, I had 2,500 hours or something in that car. Take a year and a bit out of your life, and all you do full time is work for one thing, and then see how you feel about it if somebody messes with it. Outside of the car world, most people don't own a single thing that they have that kind of time commitment or effort into. Like, they don't own a single thing like that, not one.
No,
Maybe
no, it's all been bought off the shelf.
The other thing,
Almost people didn't build their own house. I mean,
well, some people do.
Well, yeah, okay. You and I might know some guys who built their own house, but generally speaking, people don't get out, whatever, show up on site with some 2x4s and a hammer and start building a house. So,
I'm just gonna put that
it's
over
very
there.
true.
Yeah.
I think, summed up, like, you almost need the ability to look around corners. You definitely need to maybe not perfectly see into the future, but you should have some stop points along the way that you're going, okay, at this point, we could have a fork in the road, right? We need to be aware of this as it's coming at us. It's like driving, right? When we're all taught, well, I'm teaching my oldest right now. She got her learner's permit the other day, and she actually asked the question. I didn't even have to bring it up, but she's talking like, hey, Dad, how far should I be looking down the road? I'm like, fuck, is that a great question for a little 16-year-old to ask, But it's that type of stuff. You need to see into the future and predict what's coming. And if you don't, like you say, you could have a big financial burden
faster than hitting one of those walls.
In my shop here, I'm at the end of the process usually, right? And I get guys call me up for dyno, and sometimes there's some horrible stories because, guys call me up. Now all the money and time has been spent, and he made some bad choices, and it's tough for me to clean that up at the end. Where, if he'd called at the front side of the project, I would have given him some free advice on what to do, and with the idea that when he finally shows up with something I can work with. So it happens all the time, and I would say, like, in the dyno business, you see this constantly because I'm on the back end of these projects, and if it's been done wrong or mistakes have been made, it can be heart-wrenching because you're telling the guy, I can't work with this, or you need to replace these parts, or it's going to take way more time than we thought.
And some of these guys have traveled for, hundreds of miles to come see you.
Oh yeah. Guys come here.
Like, sorry, man.
Traveled a day or whatever, and the car shows up and it's got like 8 things wrong with it that all need parts, and they have a 1-day dyno. It's supposed to be a tuning session. I'm like, this car needs like a week of my time with some foreknowledge of what's going on so we can order parts, because these days you can't always just get parts. It's hard. I don't know where the time goes, man. It's hard to believe this little car behind me is 38 years old. It's 38 years old. It's no wonder you can't just walk into Auto Value or whatever, O'Reilly, Napa, you name it, CarQuest, and get any part you want for it. You got to deal with somebody's specialty like Western Motorsports or late model restoration or whatever for half this stuff.
Yeah.
And thank God you have a Mustang where you can get the parts, because if you have like a Lincoln Mark 7,
good luck.
Forget about it. You got to have your own parts cars.
That's like one of the cars that we rebuilt was a Cadillac ATS. It's built on a Camaro platform, but it's all different, right?
Yeah.
And you're paying a premium. Like, had we rebuilt a Camaro, it would have been cheaper, quicker, faster. But trying to source the parts for that ATS there's just not as many out there, and if you can find a part, you're paying a premium. So that's stuff you really need to consider.
Well, we've been spoiled over the years with Fox bodies because there were so many of them. Parts were so available, and the aftermarket was so strong. And but now you got to face facts. Like this little car's 38 years old. Some of these aftermarket parts you used to rely on are gone. Some of the guys you used to rely on, like Trailmaster, who did the weld-on housing ends for me, they're gone. You have a little more patience and temper your expectations a little bit.
That's like me. I'm for the older cars, I'm a Pontiac guy. I like my Pontiacs, and we used to go to the pick and pull yard and go pull a Pontiac 400 every other weekend or a Pontiac 350 or something. Good luck finding one for any type of decent budget nowadays. And now you're going to Butler Performance, or something like that, to get parts for these Pontiacs. They're just a little harder to come by, like you said. And I remember, when I was younger, you walk into any pick and pull and they're a dime a dozen.
Well, then you got stuff like this, whatever it is, first choice or whatever outfit. That was everybody, like Car Done. They had a whole bunch of these aftermarket outfits under their umbrella, and they went bankrupt. So suddenly, like there's even an oil filter shortage because a whole bunch of these branded oil filters were made by this outfit, and they went bankrupt. So,
well, we even get this in the aviation industry, which is where I actually work my day job at, and one of the factories burnt down for the rivets, and now these rivets that used to cost this much, guys are paying $150 for one freaking rivet because it's a specialty rivet for the airplane, right? And it's like because they just can't get them, but you need them because you can't put an alternative in there. So now they're scrambling to look for alternatives because, as you can imagine, the aviation industry is a lot tighter regulated than the automobile. And it's like, no, that plane's approved for that part and that part only. You're not putting it. Not my problem.
I do like working with the airplane guys. Whenever they're on the dyno, if something goes wrong, they're really calm about it because nobody's life is on the line.
Yeah. Well,
nothing's falling out of the sky.
Yeah, I shouldn't say this, but you know what? I have a bad day. I lose 300-400 people. A doctor has a bad day. You lose 5 or 6, maybe.
Yeah.
So why am I paid as little as I'm paid?
Very true. Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, I had a shop teacher, for my automotive service tech training. He said, I'll never forget it. He said, a lot of people say that doctors have the hardest job in the world. He said, but from my perspective, doctors only really need to know one human body. He says, mechanics need to know thousands. I'm like,
it's true.
Good point, bud.
Hey, I saw a segment with you talking about people's lawn care in Tennessee and out snapping out chalk lines and stuff. I thought you might be interested in this. I have robots that cut the grass every day at my place and my dad's. I got one of these Yarbos working at my dad's, and it's handling 2 acres there.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and some of it is unbelievably rough, like so rough no one would go over it with a 0 turn because it'd shake your kidneys loose. So, it's yard. It's not really, that part isn't really manicured lawn, but we had a fire there this spring. It's been a nightmare, but part of the reason is because grass was too long and this fire got in it and got away. And so anyway, the Yarbo is keeping that all under control. And I don't have to do anything.
Huh.
It cuts
Pretty
the grass
slick.
every day.
I've yet to see any of those around here. I don't know if that's maybe a little bit of a pride thing almost, because it seems like everybody's running around with a 0 turn and a little, single axle trailer behind them or whatever. Well, and, but yeah, I knew a guy in Ontario that had one of these. I didn't know what it was called, but kind of like the little runaround vacuums that you have in your house, right? The robotic vacuums. And it was his little lawn unit.
Yeah, well, I got a Husqvarna at my place. in Calgary, and I've had that for years, and it's worked good. But because things were starting to get out of control at my dad's, I got this Yarbo, which is a big tracked unit with interchangeable implements. So I got a snowblower for it
Okay.
too.
Well,
No
honestly,
shit.
we're
Yeah.
getting off topic a bit, but I honestly think robotics is going to be it's going to be the next big market because on two sides. One is stuff like the help around the house and stuff like that, and even in business. But on the other side, which people don't think about as much, you got these like AI robots nowadays that are fully interactive. They can do secretary work. They can have relationships and stuff like that. It's crazy how realistic they are. And I mean, the social economy nowadays between dating economy is pretty rough shape, and I think this is really sad as it is to say. I don't want to see it go this way, but I really think it's going to go that way.
Well, I don't know about a sex robot, but I'll tell you
I
what.
didn't say
when
that.
there's a humanoid robot that will vacuum stairs, clean bathrooms, and clean my kitchen, I'm all over.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Exactly.
And frankly, I don't see why I wouldn't send that thing out to shovel the sidewalk either, or like walk around my dad's place at night, just checking on things.
Make sure it's like the chrome
Maybe it's
skeleton
got a
with the red
cat mode.
eyes. It plays that music. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, you know what? The Yarbo, you can have it play a soundtrack.
Yeah.
So you can have it like riding around playing Ride of the Valkyries, like in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, kick the old robot into cat mode and get it out there chasing mice maybe too.
Yeah.
I filmed some stuff on this robot. I have a ton of stuff filmed, and just really I've been doing so much work on this project. I haven't been able to edit anything.
Well,
but I will release some stuff on the Yarbo. It's a pretty cool system. And I feel like for car guys, especially guys like Brent who got an acreage or whatever, wouldn't you sooner have that thing cut in the grass so you could spend your time on the car projects?
That's my point exactly. That's why I think this stuff's going to take off. And to exactly what you said, you get it out there shoveling the snow, doing the dishes, vacuuming. That's all stuff you don't have to do now.
Yeah.
Frees up your time to do
Frees
other
up
things.
time.
That's what people are going to be in demand for, just freeing up their time.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's just going to be an emerging market. I know that's completely off topic, but not completely, I guess, because it frees up time to go work on your projects. But
yeah, I mean, like this thing, I've been working till as much as I can stay awake, 10, 11 every night, and to try and get it over the finish line for this. But, it doesn't leave time for cutting the grass at my dad's place. But I don't have to worry about it because I got a robot doing that.
And I can vouch for how late he's working, because I'm in bed because I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and he's like, "Look what I got!" At like 11 o'clock. I'm like, that's nice, Matthew.
Send him a text message at 11 o'clock at night. Did I send you that one with the cruise control?
Yeah, you did. You were so excited.
Awesome.
It's got cruise.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You got a peeling paint Foxbody with a ridiculous engine swap and a Galaxy tablet bolted to the dash or whatever, and it's got a no parts cruise control. Like, you don't have to. It doesn't weigh anything. It just uses electronic throttle.
What impressed me about that the most is how accurate that cruise control is.
Yeah,
it goes like 63.3 miles an hour, right? We're not talking 63 to 65 to 67. It's like, no, you can adjust it to, I want to go up 0.1 of a mile an hour. Like, unreal.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Well, what happens when you press set, it takes whatever its actual instantaneous speed is when you press set. So if that's like 63.4 miles an hour, then that's its set point. But it's actually holding it at 63.4 miles an hour, not 63 or 64.
Yeah. It just holds it there. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Unreal.
That's a win for Max, I'd say.
Well, especially, when you're about to put 1,100 miles on it, right? Maybe you want to put your feet up after a long, hot day.
Oh, yeah.
Hang them out the window.
A lot of that. Yeah. Yeah. On these type of things, it's kind of go, as I understand it, right? Because you're at track and you got to get the slicks on. You got to go do 2-3 runs possibly and get everything unload it, get everything, load it back up, get the street tires back on it, hit the road again. And that's the easy stuff. You got some of these other people that are running completely wild machines. They got to do a lot more. You have to put the seats back in.
And on the drive, you have to follow a specific route, and you have to show up at the destination with
pictures,
with photos of your car and landmarks along the route, so they know you followed the route.
But yeah,
right.
So, keep you honest.
Yeah, for sure. I had sort of planned to give you a tour of the car, but I know it's mostly audio anyway, and we had a little bit of technical difficulty up front, so I'm not sure how feasible that really is. But
well, yeah, that, and I don't know, maybe this is a good opportunity to get folks over to the YouTube channel, right, and check it out that way as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of video of the car on the YouTube channel, and there'll be more, and there'll be some sort of on the spot reports as we run the event,
progress through. Yeah, that's cool, buddy. Well, listen, I want to thank you a ton for doing this, gentlemen, because that was a very educational conversation. I think there's a lot of people out there that are considering Godzilla swaps these days. So I'm glad that we kind of brought that in at the tail end of it all and discussed some of the costs involved and had that psychological discussion about project burnout and how you got to keep going through this stuff. I mean, that's key for anybody to hear, even us old vets that have been doing it damn near our whole lives, right? It's nice to hear somebody else say like, oh shit, you go through that too? No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to put the seats back in this car after it came back from roll bar fabrication, what had happened is it was all gutted, right? No carpet, no console, no nothing. And I sent it with the seats installed in the correct orientation. But Chris thought, he must have put them in the wrong way around. So he switched them, and the tracks were offset. So he switched them. So he did get them to work, but they wouldn't work with the console. And when I went to put it back together and the seats didn't fit, I almost broke down and cried myself. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, are you kidding me? Because he never called to say, hey, these seats don't seem to fit right. Are you sure you put them in the right order? So it was a complete surprise, right? And anyway, not everybody has another wild Foxbody they can rip the seats out of, which I did, and that saved the day. But that was a moment where I felt like, I'm going to give up. I don't know why I was too close to the deadline. I don't know. You can't buy seats on like 2 seconds notice. So
I remember that conversation. It was, it's like, oh.
So, but anyway, there's usually a way forward. You stop and relax. And
you know what? That's, go have a night's rest or go for lunch and we've had a couple moments like that where we're just, okay, let's go for lunch.
Yeah.
And come back and all of a sudden things just start clicking again.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to walk away.
It's a great hobby. It can be frustrating and whatever. It doesn't have to break the bank and it doesn't have to kill you. It's, I think it's a great hobby, and it's a wholesome, family friendly kind of hobby. You can get kids involved. If I'm not at home, my wife's not worried that I'm out, at the strip bar and snorting cocaine or something like that. It's like at most I'm hanging around a parking lot with some guys talking about Mustangs.
I always think of that one meme where the guy and the lady's lying in bed and she's thinking the one thing and he's like, it's got fuel, it's got spark, why won't it start?
Oh yeah. She's sitting there thinking, oh, it's another woman and all of this stuff. Yeah. And he's just trying to figure out why his motorcycle won't run.
Yeah, that's a car guy pretty much summed up right there.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Well, boys, I'll put links to all of your online adventures down in the the description area of the podcast, so folks can track you guys down and hopefully cheer you along the way. This is going to be a fun deal to watch.
Yeah, listen, thanks very much for having us, Gary. I know it was really short notice, but this project has, I have felt like, I don't know if it's really going to get across the finish line, but we think we are now. So it was a good time to talk about it, and I thought, who better to give a first look at this project, some of which has been a secret too, than you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. We'll be cheering you guys on for sure. And seeing Bad Decision, maybe bring home a little hardware at the end of all this.
That would be great.
Yeah, I don't know. But we're gonna have a good time, I think, and
Right.
hopefully we finish. And but I feel like we got a chance. We got a real chance. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, don't go anywhere, boys. But yeah, thanks very much for doing this. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Hey,
all right.
Pleasure meeting you, and thanks for having us.
Yeah.